Hello, welcome to a very special end of year Swapping Joysticks episode. I'm your host, Biggest Ben, otherwise known as Ben Ostwick, and joining me as always
is me, Ed Nightingale from Eurogamer.
And as you can see, we have some very, very special guests. Ed, would you like to do the courtesy of introducing them?
I'm very excited because we have some professionals here who know a lot more about gaming.
Look at me when you say that.
From PlayStation Access, we have Rosie.
Hi, everyone.
We have Victoria from Eurogamer.
Hello.
And Meg from The Gamer.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us,
I like our quiz
everyone.
show waves.
Yeah. Mom, I'm on TV.
And this will be going up on YouTube. It'll also go up on podcast sites as well. So anybody, if you're not sure, they were all waving when saying hello. We won't do audio description for everything, but yeah.
How are you all doing? Are you feeling Christmassy?
A little bit. I think now when work is done, that's when the full Christmas will hit. We just got we've all just got to do that final push, and then it's Christmas, baby.
You say all. Victoria has already finished and left me alone for my last week. What?
And yet, I've decided to come and help you with this.
Thank you.
Because I love you. Yes, I finished. But I spent my weekend so knackered, I just slept through the weekend. I'm basically currently jet lagged without the fun of the travel. That's fine.
Where have you flown from, or is it a secret?
No, I've not flown anywhere. So
you're just saying you were jet lagged just because of how much you slept.
Yeah, I think just the Game Awards on Thursday night, then working, and I was in a slightly delirious state on Friday working, to the point that I had to explain some of my jokes to our commenters. That's really bad, and you have to explain a joke to your commenter.
Yeah.
Don't speak to them.
I was like, no. And so yeah, I think I'll start feeling Christmassy tomorrow. I've got my Christmas cards to send and things. So.
Nice. I don't feel Christmassy at all.
But look how Christmassy we're green and red in behind us, and there's a Christmas tree. This is actually our only Christmas tree in the house. Look how pathetic it is.
That's a bit depressing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's cute. Look at it.
I think it's adorable. And you got your star.
Yeah.
Did you know we went to
Mario?
Yeah.
The star's nearly as big as the tree.
Mario, yeah.
I have to ask, is the star always in front of the TV? Because, that's going to be blocking some vital
That would
information.
annoy me, yeah.
It is moved if the TV is used, which is not very often.
No.
Yeah, fair.
We've got
It's a decorative TV. It's not there to be used.
Yeah.
This is the reference
Really?
if I'm sat here working and I'm like, I need to check something on the PlayStation. I quickly turn it on in here and check on the TV. But otherwise, we've got one in the other room.
We've got some slightly bigger than usual lint bears, because we were like, you know what, we're gonna get slightly bigger than usual, and we've put them in the corners of the TV, to save them for Christmas. And already I was playing Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, and I was like, how many heals do I have? Just because lint bears in the way, but I didn't want to move them because of the charm.
I put candles in front of my TV, and some of the situation I was playing against Shimmer. I was like, I don't understand my health, because the bloody angel was right in front of it. And I was like, Angel, you're not helping anyone right now.
Gotta be careful with candles and TVs. I had a candle kind of in front of my TV back when I lived in Cardiff, and when we went to kind of sell it, I noticed that there was a massive chunk of the TV missing that kind of melted down. I was like, I hadn't noticed that ever. Just burning my TV.
Yeah, don't do that.
I'm not very good with tech. Ed, tell people where my PlayStation is.
On the floor.
Wait,
You have a child.
Yeah, I've got two, but that's fine.
is it horizontal or vertical?
It's horizontal.
Yeah,
No,
I
it's
think
vertical. It's vertical.
Thrown carelessly, covered in dust, not
It's
looked after, the poor thing.
and it's got a 20p shoved in the disk drive.
Kind of wedged. I just sort of hope for the best. So that what I'll do. It's like technological Tetris in my house.
you got the dog bed in front of it, keeping warm because it comes out.
Yeah.
All the heat. Amazing. Well, we're going to be talking to all of you about your favorite games of 2024. There might be some crossover, but we're going to go around each of you one by one, telling us your three. You can rank them if you like, or you can just say these are 3 games I loved. And yeah, feel free to everyone else to chat, to butt in and disagree, agree, question their taste, whatever you want to do.
There's no judgment here. But also there's judgment.
Well,
Ed saying there's no judgment is
we've
quite...
met you before. We're very aware there's judgment.
How dare?
Yeah. You should
They know.
On the regular podcast, we have what you've been playing, and people write in about what they've been playing, and the amount of comments and looks. I'm surprised people even bother, because it's like, oh God, they like this game, really? So, yeah.
I'm nice to people.
All right, let's move on.
Shall we start?
We'll start. Who do you want to start with, Ed? Who's your favourite?
No, don't ask me who my favourite is. Should we just go alphabetical?
Yes, sure. That makes sense.
I'm just trying to be fair.
I'm trying to work out who's alphabetically first. It'll be Meg.
That would be Meg.
Oh, Ben. Yeah.
Oh, I've got to save mine for the. Oh god. Oh, I didn't even know we were doing ours as well.
Oh, no, this is about you.
We'll do you, and we'll butt in when we agree.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is this to make up for like the fact you made me wait 15 minutes to join the call?
Yeah, that's true. Meg was.
Yeah, if you want to go first, then you can leave 15 minutes earlier.
Get past.
I've done my time.
Yeah. Meg was hanging out in the waiting room for so long, she got booted. They were like, they're not letting you in, sorry.
Give it up, go home. Like...
Meanwhile, Meg's like, these are my precious minutes. That's it. I'm leaving 15 minutes early.
Oh, but Meg, so tell us what are you gonna rank your games?
I might as well because I already have on the Gamer. We all do a Game of the Year list. So
is this gonna
I try?
a spoiler?
I can't lie now. I mean, someone out there be like, "This doesn't match."
Maybe you played Indiana Jones since and just loved it and shoved it to the first.
It's alright. I'm not
Victoria's
getting
face.
into Indiana Jones. We'll save that for if one of you mentions that. Like, shocking no one. My Game of the Year was Infinite Wealth. Yeah, like you literally could have bet money on it from January, and probably not won much money because the odds would have been, you know,
negative.
Everyone would have known.
1-1. Just
yeah, there was no other option. I don't know. At the beginning of the year, I thought Dawn Trail might have been up there, depending, but it wasn't, sadly. But yeah, so Infinite Wealth. I don't know what we're doing. Am I just
tell us about why do you love Infinite Wealth? We actually, did you know we went to Japan and and one of the evenings Ed was like, oh, you got to decide you can decide, Ben, what we do this evening. And I was like,
okay, hang on. It's because I organised too much. And then I felt like I was the one leading everything. And I was like, please have some input. So I was like, this is your evening to decide what to do.
He made me climb 3 mountains in one day, which was just far too much.
They were not mountains.
I think of the legs, though. I bet your legs were like...
for about 2...
bro.
I've only recently... There was a giant lump in my leg. And I think it was like my muscle was in constant spasm from going up 10,000 steps up Mount Inari. It's like constant. See, this is what I had to deal with. But no, I made I made us go to Yokohama. So I haven't actually played Infinite Wealth, but I'm about halfway. Well, probably not even that. Halfway through Like a Dragon, and so we went on the big wheel, which was terrifying. And
I saw your pictures.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah, it looked amazing. I was
Did
very
you
much...
go to the park? Because that's so close to being spot on in the game. It's almost like spooky walking around there. You're like, this is weirdly the same as walking around in the game.
It was just quite late in the evening, so we just went to the fun fair, to the big wheel, and then did some of the machines, the gacha machines, and the Luigi's Mansion arcade machine, which was crazy. But yeah, we did. So we just did that. But unfortunately, we didn't have time. But I have seen like a Reddit thread of kind of 22 places of what they look like in the game and what they look like in real life and how similar they are. What does Infinite Wealth do that like improves on the original? The first one. Yeah.
So I think you kind of fall into 2 camps with Infinite Wealth and where you stand on it. I think you have like long-time Yakuza fans who found it really emotionally appealing because it's like the end of Kiryu's arc, and it really is like a love letter and a tribute to all that's come before. Like they mentioned everything, even like spin-offs. He'll be like, oh, I remember that weird dream I had, and it'll be, you know, like Ishin and stuff like that.
Where I was killing zombies, lol.
Yeah, so they reference everything. So it really was like this look back. It's this big historical, emotional thing for fans. But then there's the other fans who came in with Like a Dragon. So, you know, they might not care as much about Kiryu, and they care about Kasuga instead. And so I think it was like a different sort of experience for them in some ways. And I remember having like debates with people because at the end, like, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but obviously they split off and you deal with one of them first and one of them second, the 2 protagonists. And, you know, people are debating like whether, it should have ended on this one instead of that one. But obviously it couldn't simultaneously end on them both, like literally on your screen. But yeah, for me, it was like a really emotional sort of close to that chapter. Before Infinite Wealth, you know, I think it was safe to say everyone sort of thought Like a Dragon was the passing of the torch, and then you play Infinite Wealth, and you're like, oh no, this is the passing of the torch. It was just so good. And aside from like the narrative and all of that, and the emotions and like how much you're invested in it as a fan, like just gameplay wise, it was just above and beyond anything they'd ever done. Like, you know, so many amazing mini games. Like Dondoko Island alone could have been a spin-off game. And
that's the Animal Crossing thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like I was like obviously reviewing it, and I got stuck on that for not stuck. Like, I mean, I was like obsessed with it and just playing that for days and days and days. And it got to the point where I was like, oh my God, I'm running out of time. And like, when I had finished it, I ended up doing an all-nighter to finish it, to hit embargo, because I'd played too much Dondoko Island. And I remember my son coming up to be like, bye, I'm going to school. And I was like, oh God.
But my star rating on the island.
I'd been awake all night, like just finishing it. And I kept being like, oh, this will be the final boss. This is it. And it obviously was not. It's
That's
not
always
PG.
the thing in a Like a Dragon or Yakuza game. They're always like, oh, this is the final area. And even the game warns you nowadays, it's like, you're going to be here for quite some time.
Yeah.
So, and like, you know, you think, oh, it'll be fine. And it really is like a boss and then a boss and then a boss and then a big action sequence and a boss.
That's just standard RPG.
That sounds like, I mean, Like a Dragon dungeons themselves. Like I've been one quite early on in Like a Dragon, and that took me like 2 hours of just, and you're like, oh, here's the end, and then there's a boss, and then the boss leads into another dungeon that's kind of identical, and I'm like, wow, okay, I've been here a while. At least I'm leveling up.
Wait, so how many hours did you put into it?
Like over 100. Like,
oh wow, I just realized it was quite so big.
Hang on, how many? I want to have a look.
There's so many, like, there's so much side content. It's so easy to like get distracted and play different things, and then you know, you're not even doing the main story, and you're just off playing mini games or, you know, chatting up women, and then the next thing you know, you're like, oh no, I really need to play because I'm meant to be reviewing this.
Sounds like Rebirth. I had a very similar experience with Rebirth.
Oh, I have apparently, because I looked at my PlayStation Wrapped, I have 193 hours.
What?
What?
193 into it.
Wow.
Like, what percentage completion are you?
Well, I've got the platinum for it, so I got the platinum, and I think I pretty much did. I want to say I did everything, but to be fair, this is also sometimes with our work, you have to like load up an old save file to capture things and stuff like that. So I do consider that as well. But I agree with like I saved on Dondoko Island for like, I thought, okay, I'm going to wait until I'm near the end of the story before I delve into it, because I already knew it was going to take up my life.
I should have done that.
And then literally my boyfriend was playing, I can't remember what he was playing at the time, but he was playing something. And then I was borrowing the PlayStation Portal because I wanted to give it a shot. And literally it was all Dondoko Island. I just played Dondoko Island on the Portal, and it was fantastic.
The Portal is like I think it's my hardware of the year. Like that has been,
is that a thing?
If we have a category, it will be, well, it's going to be.
We're ad hocking it in.
Like, quick, guys, think on the spot, because I've not arranged that.
I think I just randomly got the Ghost of Tsushima Platinum just because I could chill with it on the Portal. I mean, I love it, but it's one of those games that you can kind of just sit back and go hunting for things and just clear a few camps with not real, just while you're doing other things, and the Portal was perfect for that. Oh,
nice.
I really need to play. No, I was going to say, like, with the side, have you played Dave the Diver?
Yes.
Because I found those mini games the way they had like the farming and the other side stuff, but it was, I'll use the analogy, it was kind of like a mile wide and an inch deep. Like it wasn't as deep, but are the ones in Infinite Wealth, are they really fleshed out? I'm guessing so, if you spent so much time.
You get like a mix. So obviously some of the mini games are just like a Mario Kart ripoff or something like that, you know, and it is just kind of, you're not really going to get sucked into it as much. You might want to like tick off all the races or something, but you're not really going to be as invested. But then there are other things where you do get really invested. Like other than Dondoko Island, there was is it Mismatch, where the dating app.
Oh, is this the one with the real women?
I think you might be thinking of from Guided. I can't remember if I'm getting confused now because
I mean, there were so many.
I think it's the man who erased his name, because I remember when So I got the platinum for that when I was on the quest for it. You know, the PS5 takes a screenshot, and literally I have a screenshot of just a real life woman in a bunny outfit. Because my friend came round, and you know when you boot up the PS5, it's like recent screenshot, and they were like, "Rosie, what have you been playing?" I was like, "It's not what you think. I did it for the trophies."
Yeah, so I guided those. So I went through every woman getting all the answers, and I remember my husband came into my office, and it was like one of the cutscenes at the end when you've like won her over, and there's like this girl in the pool and stuff, and he was like, "What are you playing?"
Can I play it?
The worst part was I had a journalist go, "That's a famous Japanese porn pool, that is," and I was just like, "How do you know that?" Like,
the pool. They know the pool very well.
Yeah.
That they shot that scene in is like apparently a very famous porn pool in Japan.
Wow.
I kind of want to look it up now.
Somewhere to add to the list. Next time we go, Ed.
I want to go.
That's actually why Ben.
Me?
Yeah, well, you went to Japan to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody. I mean, whenever you go to the the onsens.
That's not a porn pool.
You're butt naked.
You could make it one.
Yeah,
No.
you will get
Not-
kicked
not
out.
yet.
And
It would
you'll be
not
asked to leave the
yet.
country, but
Yeah. So no, I don't think they had the real like they definitely had them in obviously the man who raised his name. I don't think they had like I can't remember now off the top of my head whether they had like
I think they were there, but they were a lot. It
wasn't as much.
Yeah, it was like just someone in an outfit or something like that. Like you didn't. I mean, I don't really remember. Most of the times when those happens, I just phased out and I was just like, "This is stupid."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I remember.
But safe to say there is depth there. To be honest,
I remember
Even
Yakuza
then-
6. I was doing the online, the dating, the chatting thing on Yakuza 6, and I remember the woman getting more and more naked, and I was streaming it at the time, and I literally had to put my camera over her because I was kind of worried where it would stop and if I was going to like get banned because I didn't realize. Yeah, but luckily we didn't. Well, I mean, she was very, very underclothed,
Alright,
but
given
there
that
wasn't
you
anything
guys-
explicit.
All seem to. So I should say I've not played Infinite Wealth, but how excited are you, given how much you loved Infinite Wealth, for Yakuza Like a Dragon Pirate in Hawaii?
oh
Like,
well.
has this like made you more excited, or are you now like
Yeah.
I've
Rosie is
finished
falling
this
off her
character's
chair.
story?
So
Okay.
Oh wow!
yes, Meg!
That's how excited I am.
That is
Meg's
a good
got the
t-shirt.
t-shirt.
Yeah, I mean more than one. I spent a stupid amount of money on importing things from Japan. In fact, my little Yakuza cabinet's back here.
I was gonna say I noticed that.
Is that
Yeah,
all
you-
Yakuza stuff?
Yeah,
Wow.
Oh
need-
wow!
and it doesn't all fit in there now. When I open it, because these are all plushies at the bottom, they just fall out. So I need like another one. But I am like massively excited, and I hate to say that my game of the year is like definitely going to be this or whatever, because you never know what's going to happen. But I think there's a very good chance my game of the year next year will be Pirate Yakuza.
See, I'm really excited about it. I love pirates, like pirate games. I love them so much. So I'm
It's
going
got
to play this
Majima
one
in it, like
because I'm like, you know what? It's got pirates in this Hawaii. That is a game for me. So even though I've never played a like Yakuza game, apart from like the odd karaoke bit, this game I'm very excited for.
that got announced the day we flew back from Barcelona, Victoria.
Yeah, I wrote it in the
I was-
hotel lobby.
I was at Paddington Station, like watching it on my phone and just
Right.
reacting out loud.
I might have texted you, being like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
And is that
That
like a
was on-
direct sequel to Infinite Wealth, or is that the one that's miles away?
So it's set after, but it's
Okay.
it's technically like another guiding game. So it's like The Man Who Raised His Name. It's going to be shorter than a normal game, but longer than that one. But it's not like a fully fledged mainline title again.
So I need to catch up. I mean, I've only done 0, 1, and 6, so I've still got like
what
the
a
middle
weird
ones.
combination.
Yeah.
You've done more
You're
than
out there.
me.
Yeah.
So
You
I
went-
played
I've-
Yakuza Kiwami, and then
Yeah.
that's it. And I bought 0 on PC, and
Zero.
then just never got round to playing it. And then I started Like a Dragon because I was like, I really want to play that before we go to Japan. Obviously, I had no time, but now I think that's going to be a game I start over Christmas.
Yeah.
Finish next
now
Christmas.
I'm finished next Christmas, but I feel like having been to Japan, I now really want to get into Yakuza and see like how authentic it is.
And it's weird because when you go
I feel
around,
like a Dragon is a
Yeah.
good one to start with in inverted
Yeah.
commas.
as we were
Yeah.
traveling around and walking around Japan, like it's wild just how all the back streets and all the streets just are exactly like they are in the game. It's just
Yeah.
that atmosphere. It feels strange in the game, and then you go and like, oh no, this is actually exactly how it is.
Did you guys go to Kabukicho, if I'm saying that correctly? What where Yokohama, not Yokohama, where Kamurocho's based on, with the red arch?
Oh yeah, we stayed in the hotel with Godzilla on the top, so we were
Right?
literally there. Yeah.
So when I went there, I was like, obviously there's this giant Godzilla. I was like, why isn't that in the game?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
that
were
was our
actually
hotel.
amazing.
that
we
was
had
our,
we had a coffee in the hotel with a Godzilla like stamped on it
What?
because of course.
Oh, I love that.
it was great.
Why didn't you send me a photo? That's amazing.
I'll send you photos.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of Godzilla, and yeah, we literally like the red thing. I was like, oh my god, that's from Yakuza. I took a picture because I think that's at the beginning of Like a Dragon, but then he obviously goes to Yokohama. So
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, it's iconic. I mean, I even when I went to Japan recently, like when we were just walking around, like just the little car parks in the streets.
I kept
like,
saying
when
that.
that.
I kept saying that.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
When
For,
I
like,
first
3
saw one, I
cars.
was like, I was just like, it's just like the games. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, and literally, I wanted to take a picture of the car park just to be like,
I was sad enough to do that. So when I went there, my friend and I were like taking pictures of this car park because we were like, this is the car park, like, and there
Yeah.
were just people who passed us probably thinking, what are they doing?
Every time I went past, I was like, that car park's got like space for 6 cars. It's taking a
Yeah,
picture.
they're tiny, and
Yeah.
you just
And the box.
imagine someone getting beaten up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst thing about when I went to Japan is it was like, there wasn't a game that had just come out really. I mean, it was 3 months later, but still, I was like adamant that I wanted to find like like a dragon merch. My poor friend who lives up there, I was dragging him everywhere. I was like, we're finding something, and we had to go into like this little fan shop, where it's like they've taken like old gacha items and things like that, and they're selling it at extortionate prices. And there was like a little Yakuza section, and I was like, yes, but it was.
I couldn't believe it when you sent me a picture of a retro shop when you were in Japan, Meg,
Oh,
and,
yes,
and there was Parappa on the top, and I was like, I will pay you so much
it
money.
was for sale. Yeah, I think I was messaging so many people when I was out there, like, look at this. Like,
Amazing.
Is that the parappa in the background then? Is that the very one?
No,
it's not.
this is just one of this is just
Okay.
a Parappa. This
That's
is
the
just
day parappa.
out of my
Yeah.
Parappa the Rapper collection. Actually, it was my
Ah.
boyfriend. He was like, "You need a Parappa if you're being on camera." I was like, "Go on then, a Parappa." So
Love a
it's a
Parappa.
little Parappa. So Meg's got her Yakuza shelf, and I have my singular
Yeah.
Parappa right now.
Oh, and we've got the
Gotta be done.
Minions and Kirby.
Let's not talk about the minions. There's a Wiglet as well. A lot of Pokemon.
You've seen the Wiglet plushie before?
No.
I've seen it in meetings. My goodness, it's
I'll let
Let's
Ed go.
see it.
I'll get
Yeah,
my
yeah,
Wiglet
well,
out.
Well, Ed gets the Wiglet. Meg, what's another one that you've got, just so we don't keep you up all night?
Oh yeah, got completely derailed by like Yakuza because I could talk about Yakuza for years.
Next- Yeah, that's the Wiglet.
Oh my god.
It's official
bends as
Pokemon as well.
I like that you can pose it.
Did you
Yeah,
guys
because
buy
it's
that
got
in
a wire in
Japan?
it.
It's really
No,
cute.
it's like literally from the Pokemon company, from Nintendo. It's
Did you
genuine.
buy it in Japan?
No.
no.
So I was gonna say, like, how did you get that through airport security? Like,
It's my Wiglet. Why are you judging me? Airport security.
Officer, is there something wrong with my Wiglet?
Don't ask a man about his
As soon
Wiglet.
as they announced it, Ben was like, I'm buying that.
Yeah, I bought it.
I bought
Yeah.
some weird stuff in my time, but I can say you're worse now. My second like top game of the year was Metaphor Refantasio. Just obviously I was already a Persona fan, and I think there's like ongoing debate obviously among people, but for me, I think this is better than Persona. This is my new favorite
do I.
Atlas game.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I
I
agree,
haven't finished
really.
it yet. I haven't finished it, but I'm
Oh,
well,
Me
so-
neither. Me neither. I'm 30
I'm
hours
like
in.
20 hours in. I'm in the part where I've just unlocked the big machine thing.
the
but
Gauntlet
The
Runner.
Walker.
that's,
The
yeah,
runner,
but that's
yeah.
my Christmas game this year. I want to like fully put in the
Oh, you've
dedicated
got
hours
a
to it.
treat in
Yeah, I'm about
store.
10 hours after Euros as well. And it's, I suppose I put it down. I don't know. I think because we went on holiday, but like, there's just, it's so good. It is so good.
I didn't learn from Infinite Wealth, and once again I was like, I'm going to do all these optional side dungeons, and then I remember getting to the point where Ed and I were messaging each other because we were both reviewing it, like, oh god, how long is it?
Yeah, it just keeps
How
going
long was
and going.
it? Like I know Ed was playing it for what felt like eternity. How long was it in the
I
end?
think
like,
it
to
was
complete?
about 75 hours for me, I think.
Yeah,
at
I
the
was going
end.
to say about 80 hours, yeah.
Okay.
And that was like, it got to the point where I was not rushing it, but you know, I wasn't like as relaxed as I might have been if I was playing it without a deadline.
Yes.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say that's quite quick. I mean, I played Persona 4 earlier this year, and I put easily over 100 hours
I
into
would-
that.
Oh
I
yeah,
would say
that's
the
longer. I
Persona
think.
games are longer, but in a weird way, like, or not even in a weird way, I think that's part of what makes Metaphor better is because you're not like, you can't fail rank up events and things like that. Even though you still have this calendar system, it's very easy to still max out everything within the time you've got.
Hmm.
And I think that takes away a lot of the pressure. It makes it more enjoyable, and I think that also takes away a chunk of like grinding and you know, like redoing things because you didn't get the perfect answers, and you want to make sure you rank up. And yeah.
Yeah, thankfully there are no school questions with answers
Oh yeah.
that like I can't do without a guide. That's the one thing in any video game that I will look up is the Persona classroom answers because I refuse
Wait,
to get a single one wrong.
Is that like an exam that you have to take in Persona?
Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah. they
literally,
do,
yes.
like-
Okay.
I usually
Wow.
do it where I'm like, I guess I think I'll be like, okay, let's actually think about this, and then I'll go for the answer, and then my boyfriend and I do the game where it's just like, is that your final answer? And then
Yeah.
like, you know, one of us will have the guide, but whoever's doing the quiz doesn't have the guide, and then if they say no, you're wrong,
Oh.
it's like, okay, change my answer. Oh, good
I
thing I
swear-
didn't choose
I
that
can't
answer.
remember which one it was, but I swear one of the Persona games like had a incorrect answer as the correct answer in the game.
Oh,
And so people who did know, who were just knowledgeable, and like, I know the answer to this, would actually get it wrong. I feel like I'm now making it up,
Wait,
but part of me is
was
like,
this-
I feel this was a thing.
Sega. Oh, it's Sega, isn't it? Sega.
Atlas, yeah,
Atlas,
and
yeah.
then
Atlas.
Atlas, yeah.
Is this them trolling people, or was it an error?
Maybe I feel like it was an older one. Like maybe it was when
Okay.
Persona 4 first came out or something like that. It wasn't like a newer one. I don't think. I'll have to look it up now and check.
Maybe
that
they've
I'm not
patched it.
just
Oh, Was this Meg
making
about?
up stuff.
Was this about a TV that I've heard?
So Meg and I were at a preview for Metaphor.
Rosie was technically there too.
I
but
was in
just
a different
the-
department. I was
yeah.
with the influencer. I was in the influencer team, and you're in the press team. So I didn't
Oh,
hear
yeah.
of the TV. I wasn't there.
Just
And
didn't
it
get to
was,
see my shame.
It was in New York in a synagogue, which was a bit
It was.
random.
Yeah.
And it was, lots of sofas and flat screen TVs everywhere, and they were all quite close together. And the flat screen TVs are, quite thin and quite wobbly.
It's got to buy a stand for it, like our PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like the end of the day. I just heard this clattering and genuinely screamed. And Meg had knocked over a flat screen TV.
It was fine.
It didn't smash,
What
to be fair.
Were you like had something dramatic just happen in the game that you were suddenly like so
Oh no, like
we
we
were
were
long
not
past
amazed
playing.
by that you had to react with every bit of your
We
body?
weren't playing anymore. We were like sort of milling around. I think we were looking at, they had like portraits up on the wall. And I think I was like, oh, I'll go look at this portrait, and just like knocked it and just, yeah.
Did it go to
tried
the
be
floor?
cool
Or...
and it like
Facial
fell,
awareness
it
just
fell
went.
forward like on the little table thing it was on. And I was like, oh god, and I just sort of picked
Oh
it
wait,
back up.
screen
And,
first.
yeah.
Oh.
Because there wasn't
Oh,
a
you got
controller on there.
lucky. The screen was fine, and sadly, not the first time I've knocked something over at an event.
Go on then.
Okay, what's the first
Yeah.
time?
So what was the first time?
So at the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth event, which sadly I think you guys were at as well.
Two
Yeah.
in the same year. It's
Yep,
not even as
that
if
was
you were
earlier
like,
this
year.
yeah,
Exactly.
4 years
Yeah.
ago.
I was expecting
you
something
know-
ages ago, but no, still within the same.
No, like
Yeah.
in that lobby room before you went into the room where all the games, like TVs and setups were, they had like some shelves with like, I don't know, ornaments and like antiques or something on
Oh
it.
no.
And I can't even remember how I did it, but there was like, it was almost like a metal ball or something. So I feel like that it was gonna happen sooner or later because it was like circular, and I like knocked it and it like rolled off, and because it was
wasn't like-
metal, it was like really loud when it hit the floor.
Never go to a museum ever.
And
Well,
yeah,
it
I've not
wasn't like
been
one of
to
those
a
YouTube
Square Enix
videos
event
where
since. I'm
There was a chain
joking.
event, and so you
No,
had like
no, no.
all go off,
Oh,
and then
God. And then,
everything.
it rolled into the room where the TVs were and knocked them all over. Yeah, no.
dominoes.
Can you imagine?
Was this in the Tower of London?
No,
No,
that
that was
was
16.
that was 16.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, yeah. Well, they'll just take.
No,
Take it to the
I can't remember
cells.
where this one was.
Was it the one that
actually.
was had the Chocobo bus stop sign in the
Yes,
front? of
yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, and then the tables were,
that was
you know,
near
pretty much.
Camden.
yeah. Because I feel like we went somewhere in the evening.
Oh, I didn't.
I didn't.
No, you did.
Not invited.
Tekken.
Tekken.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
yes, we
because I
did.
met you.
oh yes, the
I
famous.
met you
Dang it,
afterwards.
you guys call me a liar.
I
Just
forgot that was
forget.
in the same day, but you're right. It was
It was,
that
yeah.
was the same
I
day.
probably knocked something over there too, but it would have been fine because I would have been drunk.
Yeah, Tekken, that was great. I loved it. We didn't play a single bit of Tekken, did we?
Same.
We
Oh, I did. I
at the
played a bit
event
of
we didn't.
Tekken.
No. Now we've got it now, and I love it.
Well, you button bash and beat me, and I get annoyed.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to playing as Clive though.
I remember they had Tekken 8 at WASD, RIP, and my friend who loves fighting games was like, "Oh, well, let's have a go. Let's have a game, Ben." And I've not played it since Tekken 1. Like literally, that was one of the first games I ever got. Was the PS1. It was a long story. I threw up at Christmas because I was so excited as a kid getting a PlayStation. But one of the games was Tekken 1, and I haven't played it since then. And my older brother used to come over and like unlock characters for me, and I ended up beating my friend despite not playing it in about 18 years. In fact,
I
no,
don't-
more.
I
28.
don't really play a lot of Tekken, but my memory of Tekken is we used to go to Cornwall when we were kids, like on holiday. And I don't know if you guys have ever been to Cornwall. There's a place called Land's End. It's at the end of the land, and you know, there's like a farm, and there's like a couple of like I don't know, like a Wallace and Gromit thing or whatever. And they have like this what is basically a shed with like arcade machines in. And so when I was like in my teenager phase and I had a friend with me, we would just stand in there playing Tekken. Because we would rather do that than like walk around a farm and like look at the sea and be like, oh, we're in Cornwall again.
Understandable.
Yeah. And then you knocked it
Yeah.
over.
And then, yeah, knocked it all over and just ran away.
Oh, and what is your
So anyway, metaphor
yeah?
Metaphor.
It's great.
is great. Yes.
It is great. I don't want to go too much into it because I don't want to ruin anything for anyone that hasn't played it. Like obviously that's still fairly newish and very long. It's so good. I think if you like Persona, this perfects a lot of what Persona does. In terms of like pacing and everything, I think it's really well done. Like there's no way they're going to leave it at just that. That I believe this is obviously the start of a new thing. We're going to get more, and I
So
can't wait.
someone who does not know these kind of games at all, me, is Metaphor like the kind of new franchise name, and then ReFantazio is like part one?
I don't know.
It's probably
actually.
going to be like Persona, where the next one was likely like same world but unrelated to this, I imagine. So you know you don't have to play all of them really.
Ah.
I mean, this is pure guesswork. Maybe
like to
they are
imagine
going to do a sequential thing.
if like the series is just like, you know, English language terms, like the first one's metaphor and then the next one's going to be like oxymoron. Simile.
Yeah, exactly.
Like all of these terms you learn in like GCSE English, it's just like
Yeah.
we're putting them all in the title of the games in one big series.
Thing is that there
I
are.
play Onomatopoeia. That's a game.
That's a great one.
No one can spell it.
Yeah, that's great for SEO. Yeah, without like spoiling it, like there's a reason it's called Metaphor, and I can't imagine them repeating that for another game. But equally, yes, I think this probably is the start of a new franchise. So maybe they do just call it Metaphor, which would be a bit weird. I
Or
don't know.
metaphor. Refat.
Yeah, but actually, right, and this will lead me into my third top game.
Mm.
The Broken
Please, go for
Sword
it.
series was
Hey.
called Broken Sword because in the first game there was a broken sword as part of the storyline. There wasn't in any of the other games, but it was still called Broken Sword.
I've never actually thought about the name. Like I love the games, but I've never actually thought about the name. Now it's like,
Well,
yeah,
now
that doesn't
you
make
should.
sense. Mm.
So Broken Sword then is your third.
Broken Sword. I love Broken Sword. I played it when I was a kid. I had it for PS1. My aunt used to get like the official PlayStation magazine, and you know she was like the cool aunt, you know, where she had a PS1 first, and so I think everyone in our family played. Like my aunt had a copy, and we had a copy, and my uncle had a copy, and obviously it was pre-internet days. So when you got stuck, you were just stuck. Our mum would never let us ring like the premium number. And so, you know, we'd ring up our relatives, like, have you got past this bit yet? Because I'm stuck. You just had to sit there and like stress out and redo everything until you got it. But Reforged, which is obviously the remake of it, they've cleaned everything up. Like they've redrawn all the graphics. It looks so nice. They've used the original audio, but they've cleaned it up. They've added in lines that like weren't in there before. They were like recorded at the time, so they are original lines, but they're not. They just weren't used. But they've they've done something really clever with it, which is obviously, I don't know if you've tried to make a modern day person play a point and click. I have with my child.
With my children, yeah.
They're not very good at it because they don't get it. They're making it.
Were they ever?
Shut up.
So say, excuse me, point and click aficionado here. Yes.
Yes. So like there's like a lot of things they've done. It's optional, you can switch it on and off, but like, you know, if you're stuck, eventually, like, you know, it'll start twinkling what you need to do. Or like if you're talking to people and you're exhausting the same things, it will start to remove the ones that are like pointless.
Yeah.
Stop
So
asking
it's
them
narrowing down, you know,
Yeah.
where you need to go. And so it's not as like stressful, I guess, for people. They're not going to rage quit. But it's just honestly like still stands up as a very, very brilliant point and click game, even in this day and age. Like just it's one of my all-time favorites. And it's funny because it's one of those games where if you had played it when you were younger, when you see the new one, you're like, that's what it looked like. But it has
It
one of those
was.
features where you can flip it back to the original graphics and then you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Hmm.
that's what it looked like.
I love
It
that you
was
said that
one
about
of
point and
those.
click because I remember when I heard, so this is last year, so I won't dwell on too much, but when Return to Monkey Island was announced, I love the Monkey Island series. I was like, right, kids to my children. So my children they were last year 8 and 9. And I was like, you have to play The Secret of Monkey Island with mummy so we can then play Return to Monkey Island together. And they just were not getting it. Like everything was too slow and there was no like kind of forward momentum in their opinion. But then Return, similar to I suppose what they've done with Broken Sword, is they had changed it. So there's now like that little kind of hint book that you could go to. And eventually, like my kids loved Return to Monkey Island because it did have that slightly more simplified way if you couldn't do it at the sort of level that it was originally introduced at.
Yeah.
How much were they forced into submission to enjoy that game?
They weren't. I promise. I mean, they ate a lot of chocolate that week, which is
Yeah.
a complete
You
coincidence.
want
Oh,
dessert?
Yeah.
My son is now a massive Broken Sword fan, so I made him play the first two. Well, I made him play 2 first, which is terrible, really, but that's my favorite one. But the argument was, I was like, you can play 1 when Reforged comes out because it'll be the better version.
Oh, yeah.
And then he was lucky enough to meet Charles, and now he's obsessed. He made Charles promise him that he could go and do work experience there when he's old enough. He got a little
wow.
Revolution software jacket that you can't take off of him. Yeah, he's obsessed now.
I like that he's got some hustle. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got stories. At Gamescom, I got to meet Charles as well and had a chat with him. And just before I went in, my older brother, like I loved Broken Sword as a kid. I played. I didn't finish any because I was always stuck.
Because you never finish games.
and that as well. But I don't have time.
You need to get good.
I
but
do
okay.
need to. But I've got an older brother, and I just mentioned before, being like, oh, did you ever play Broken Sword? I'm just going to go in and chat to Charles, you know, the creator of it. And then I had a lovely chat. And then afterwards I came out and my phone, my brother was like, what the fuck? Oh my God, I can't believe you are talking to him. He's like, this is a legend, get a photo. And I'd left. But luckily you had an interview the following day. So I kind of joined right at the very end and be like, oh, my brother lost his mind when he found out that I was meeting you. Can we have a photo? And so we had a photo and he's like, oh, here, let me sign this art book for you to give to your brother. And so he signed that and I gave it to him and it was best birthday present ever, I've got to say.
Oh, that's
And he
so
was
good.
just the
He's
nicest
so
person.
lovely.
He's so
He is.
lovely.
He
I'm
was
really-
at like last Gamescom as well, and that was the first time I met him. And when the email came in, I was like frantically responding, like, "Oh, I have to meet him." And Stacey, like my boss, was obviously like, "What is this? Who is this?" It didn't say Broken Sword; it said Revolution Software. So, and to be honest, I think Broken Sword, she knows it in passing, but she's just like, "Eh." And then when I met him, I cried.
Oh, man.
and
Quite
like and then
nice,
I
though.
asked for a picture, but like so that picture's horrendous because it's like me with like crying face. So this past Gamescom, I was like, can we get another picture because the last one was horrendous.
Did you
So
get the,
lovely, though, like
Sorry, go on,
he's
Rosie.
no, I was gonna say, yeah. So when Beyond the Steel Sky came out, we did like a sort of like over on PlayStation Access. We did a stream with him over the calls and stuff, and as in like not in person. And he was absolutely lovely then. And then we had him as part of the PlayStation Access podcast where I got to meet him
I
face to
saw
face.
that. Yeah.
And he is genuinely like so lovely. And I was telling him as well that I've got one of my closest mates, Liam. He's a huge fan of Broken Sword as well. So obviously when I was like when I told Liam that this was happening and stuff, I took Liam's 2 big PC copies of the game, like, you know, the big box, or
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Processor 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And when I gave them to Charles, he was fully just like, I didn't know. Oh my god! And he was so excited to see the big PC box. He was like
Yeah.
opening them up, and I said to Liam, I was like, "He's fully going through your PC boxes right now." And Liam was like, "Oh my god, I didn't believe it!" And then he signed both of them for him and gave him an art book as well.
That's
Like he's
so nice.
he's so lovely. Love Charles.
I'm
Yeah.
really happy it reviewed so well. Hopefully it did decent numbers as well. But yeah, he's
Mm.
so I've
They're
only got
making
one.
a new one as well.
Yes, they are. A new one.
Yes. Parzival Stone.
Mm.
Yeah, did you get the full Bloodstone story?
I did. I did not this Gamescom, but the Gamescom before I did.
Yeah.
Rosie, did you get that?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
Or did
Go on,
depends
Ed.
what the story is.
Well, so this new game was inspired by his holidays in France, and there's a whole thing about these bloodstones that are meant to have like the blood of Christ in
No,
them.
you got to start from the beginning about
I
why
can't
they
do the
found
whole
that
thing.
cave thing, and then there was the witch woman, and
no, you're
Wow.
not.
It's a
getting it
long
right.
story. It was a very long story. Anyway,
fine.
the short version, he came out with these 2 tiny pebbles and like put them in his mouth, and I was like, "Why are you putting rocks in your mouth, you weirdo?" And then he like spits them out, and it's like they've turned
But-
red, and it's meant to be like their
but it was like-
bloodstones.
Yeah, but all right. So he didn't put them in his mouth when I saw him.
Oh,
he
he
like
fully sucked on the rocks for me.
Wow.
he put saliva on them. But
Wow.
then the
Special treatment.
stones make like the moisture turn red like blood.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was. We're making it sound weird, but it was actually really.
It was
not.
quite
I didn't
cool.
know that.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want these stones now. Oh,
yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah, the thing with Charles is you can go in for like a half an hour appointment and easily like it's an hour later and the PR are knocking on the door and you're like, oh god, because everything he says is so fascinating.
Yeah.
And you just
don't
like
wanna stop him.
tuned in. Like,
Mm. Yeah,
yeah,
totally. Oh, thanks.
So we've had Broken Swords,
Yeah.
Metaphor, and Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth. 3 great picks.
They are 3 very good picks.
Yeah.
Well, Rosie, let's come on to yours. Do
Okay,
you
so-
share any with Meg?
Yes, I definitely shared Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. So I won't talk about that just because Meg's already spoken about it. And, you know, I'm going to try and keep this podcast spicy. And I agree with everything that Meg says. So
We love the spice.
Yeah.
But it does kind of relate because when Infinite Wealth came out, I was like, you know, around mid-year or, you know, around still the first half of the year, I was like, nothing's going to top Infinite Wealth for me. I couldn't think. It was just like, it was too special of a game for me. I loved it too much. I had too much of a great time with it. And then at a showcase, they announced the one series that I didn't think was going to be coming back yet anyway. And it was Astrobot. And as soon as I saw that trailer, I was like, this is game of the year for me. I already knew. I didn't even need to play the game. Just that initial trailer, I already knew that, sorry, Infinite Wealth, I love you to pieces, but Astrobot, and it is easily my game of the year. It's such a fantastic game. I mean, even in the first trailer, you had a Parappa bot. You had like a little, and
You lost it.
yeah, literally, I'll never forget it because we were watching it in the office. And, you know, I was already like jaw to the floor, eyes wide open, so bewildered that Astrobot was coming back. And then when Parappa Pop came, like, was on the screen, I just went, Prap! And then, like, I literally put my hand over my mouth because I didn't even finish Parappa because it was purely a burst of just. And then I just, you know, when you're just so excited, you can't process anything. And I had to obviously watch the trailer again afterwards. So yeah, I was already incredibly excited for it, and then when it came out, oh my gosh, it was just perfect. It was, in my opinion, I was like, it's what the world needed. It brought so much joy. It brought so much happiness. Everyone had like, you know, their heart jump out of their chest for one reason or another, whether it was just because you love the music, you love the graphics, the references, and there was a reference that from a game that you loved ages ago that you didn't think anyone else like acknowledged back then. Or just the
Loco
fact-
for me. I love Loco Roco. In fact, I made him
Loco.
afterwards sit down and play Loco Roco because I was like, you have to play this. This game is fantastic.
I was kind of disappointed there wasn't a Point Blank reference in there.
Yeah.
Anyone-
I didn't think of Point Blank actually. That
Well,
would have been
well, now you do.
Point Blank is great. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
But that's the thing, even nowadays, I'm like, you know, for example, just for fun, I always think, oh, what if they did something else? And you know, the thought came into my mind of what if like they brought Majima or something in there? Wouldn't
my
that be
God.
cool? Because even the
Yeah.
series that they've already got, it's like they're still adding
More
other.
yeah, because they had Kiryu obviously, and they had the Arch, and
Yeah, like how one of the speed running bots, like the very final one of the speed running challenges. I mean, has everyone found the bots and stuff, or does anyone mind?
I haven't done the
No,
speedrunning ones.
I
but
haven't done
Feel
them, but-
free to.
I think we're fine. Yeah,
Are you
go
sure?
for it.
Yeah, I've
Okay, because
made it.
I didn't want to spoil it for anyone, but like for example, Albert Wesker was like the last bot in the
Yeah,
speed
yeah.
running ones, and they already had like 4 Resident Evil bots. But when Albert Wesker came in, I was like, "There's the legend!" Like I just didn't think they were going to bring him into it. So yeah, the references and everything are just so fantastic, and yeah, like and those special levels, the ones where they had like the Loco Roco, the Uncharted, the Ape Escape
Ape
one.
Escape.
Yeah,
I was going to ask you because I know like Rosie and Meg, I was like Infinite Wealth is going to cross over with you. And Rosie and Victoria, I was like Astrobot is going to cross over with you.
Oh
And
yeah,
Victoria,
Absolutely with you.
Victoria, I already know what your favorite level is because you're a huge Uncharted fan. So I know that that's already your favorite of the levels. But Rosie, what was your favorite of the theme levels?
Oh my god. Oh, that's really hard because I love loads of them for different reasons. I mean, in terms of a level, like an act, like just the level, probably Papetree or Funky Tree of Funk.
Tree of Funk was great. Jump
Tree
up
of
in my
Funk.
mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my mouth. And you help me, I help you. You know what you've got to do.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, that is such a tune.
it's so good.
Clip that.
I was listening
Make sure you guys clip that.
It'll be on YouTube.
if you help me, then I'll help you. It's so good. And literally the whole time I was doing that level, because I was playing it with headphones at the time, because when there's a game that's coming out with my work, like we have to, yeah, as you do as well, you have to play things in order for coverage and stuff like that. But my boyfriend and I have a rule that if it's a game that we're both really excited for, I will lock myself away in the living room, shut the door. He has to knock on the door, and I have headphones in and stuff to make sure he doesn't get spoiled for it. So doing Tree of Funk, and I had like the headphones on and the lyrics were going. I was in the happiest place in the world. So probably that one, just because it's such a fantastic level, but also the one that's early on, which has Parappa and Jamalani. That one was incredibly special to me because
That's what you scored with pink, wasn't it?
yes, that's it. Yeah, when you
Yeah.
have the paint, and so not only is it a fantastic level, but also it had Parappa and Jamalani, and the Ape Escape level, the Uncharted level. And also, I really, literally, I'm just like listing all these levels. The mouse level, I love the mouse mechanic, and the casino level was phenomenal as well. It
Yeah,
has,
the
like,
slow-mo was
Cooper
really
in
cool.
it.
Yeah.
So literally, I just feel like I could talk about so many like levels alone. But for me, or at least I guess kind of for me and my boyfriend, like for example, the Ape Escape level, my boyfriend is a huge fan of Ape Escape. Like we always say that our things are that he adores Ape Escape and I adore Parappa the Rapper. Like those are kind of our two franchises. So, and literally I was holding it in so long about the fact there was an Ape Escape level that he had no idea about. And when I've never seen him be so close to tears of, not like, you know, when you play a game and you're sad, then you do cry, but never like tears like this. Like this was just,
great.
yeah, it was something else. And I
It
feel
is
that,
like when I met Charles, ruined
Yeah.
the photos.
like the fact that so many things that we all loved got acknowledged and recognized, and some things, for example, like Ape Escape, got given a full pedestal of like appreciation, was absolutely fantastic. And like I said, I think it hit us all. For me, the very final bot, which was at the top of the hardest challenge in the game, the fact that what I could say again, spoilers for anyone who hasn't done it, but the fact that out of all the bots they could have picked, you know, for the penultimate challenge, the one that was at the peak was Chop Chop Master Onion from Parappa the Rapper. That was when I nearly cried. I personally, for me, with Parappa has such a big thing. I was like, they could have picked anything to put on top of this massive pedestal, and they gave the honor to Parappa the Rapper. I feel my heart jumping out of my chest as I'm talking about it. It was just, it blew my mind. I loved it to pieces. And not only that, because I'm aware I could talk about this all day, but I did just want to say one more thing, is that I think also that when I say it's a game that I feel the world needed, I think also just I think everyone needed, because I really love it how it's great for people who have played video games for years, but also for those who are being introduced to video games. Like, for example, I learned how to play games with Crash Bandicoot, Spyro 3, Tomb Raider, like all these games on the PS1. And it's been a long time, I think, since we've had a game for even the older audiences and younger audiences can both get like the same amount of absolute joy from. And I love hearing stories of people who have never played video games be like, you know, they start the game and they're like, oh, there's an enemy there, I don't know how to beat it. And now from playing Astrobot, they're like doing the third boss, and like they're learning how to play it. They're learning how platformers work and getting used to even the dual sense and how, you know, just button inputs work. They're being taught how to play games. And I think this is just a feeling, at least, I mean, this is the thing. I haven't played, you know, there's loads of Paw Patrol games and things like that, I'm sure, which do teach you this stuff. But I haven't had like so many people say, I've played this with my child, and then it turns out, for example, that their child just ends up taking over their save file because they want to carry on playing it, or they're, you know, overcoming their obstacles with learning how to play games. So that's what I think. Astrobot is literally just a complete package. It's a fantastic game. It touches all of our hearts. It brings joy to everyone, and everyone and anyone like loves playing it. And yeah.
Did you have that with your kids, Victoria? Because did you play it with them?
I played it with my kids, and it was, so there's two things which I will kind of follow on from what Rosie said. So I absolutely love this game, and like you said, it was just so joyous. Like I was playing it and I was just smiling the whole time. Like I was just beaming from ear to ear. And like you said, like all the little Easter eggs here and there, and like when I got Lara and she was being chased by the T-Rex, when I got her back to the landing pad, I just loved it so much, and it was just filled me with so much joy. Like even just thinking about it, I'm smiling. But the two things that I particularly loved about it was, the first, I loved how it actually utilized the DualSense to its potential. Because we obviously had Astrobot, Astro's Playroom, which came with the PS5, and it's like, and that was like, let me show you what the PS DualSense can do, and it was like you can blow into your remote, blow fans. I've not used that since that game until Astrobot, and then again I was like blowing bubbles by blowing into my controller and showing that to my kids, and I was like, yeah, this is actually really cool. I totally forgot that we could do this, because so many games have kind of forgotten about it, but it's just not a used feature particularly. So I love the fact that it was like, you know, it was an all-encompassing game, but it was also all-encompassing for your controller. And then that also fell into like the sound effects. Like I love the noises that came through the controller, through DualSense, like the rain on top of the big metal.
Metallic footsteps.
Yeah, like when he was running through all the, like, I remember there was one time where I had finished a level and I just spent ages just running through loads of nuts and bolts and like loads of gems, because I was like, I just want to hear what it sounds like.
Oh, being like the metal ball on the spikes in Astrobot, and then I was rolling backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's, like it sounds like every aspect of the game, I think, has been so well done. Like it's just, I love it. It makes me so happy.
The only thing I would like, I'd love them to get rid of the sound where you could like turn the sound off from the controller, because like you can't play that quietly at night.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. I
couldn't do that. I was trying, because I was like, well, I was streaming it, so I was trying to get it to come out through the sound on there as well, but it wouldn't. But it was very loud. But it's
I just,
don't play
that game filled me with so much joy. And then I suppose similar to like what you said, Rosie, like it introduced, I suppose, my kids to some characters who they knew of because they know that I like those games. And then I think also with PlayStation this year, we've seen a shift. Like they obviously released Lego Horizon Adventures, and so like again, they're kind of bringing some of their other perhaps more mature IPs to like younger audiences. And so my kids had played Astrobot and they're like, oh, can we play the Lego Aloy game? And I was like, yeah, sure. Like you kind of know what that is now. We played the Aloy level in the Horizon level, sorry, in Astrobot, and then they played Lego Horizon Adventures, and it's just like the little like nice things kind of building up to this wider world of games when they're a little bit older.
It's history repeating itself. Like that's the thing. Even the fact that you were saying that now your kids are like, oh, can we play Lego Horizon Adventures now? It's like, yes, and like Astrobot's got them in. This is the world will become gamers yet.
They will.
The stories are like so wholesome. Like when my family played Astrobot, we were like arguing over who some of the characters were.
Oh, we did that.
We were playing in separate rooms, just like not talking about it.
My husband has never played Ape Escape, and I found it hilarious watching him do the Ape Escape level in Astrobot. And he was like, "What is Ape Escape? What is it?" And I was like, "It's this." Like, and then I was explaining to him like how it's even more difficult because of some of the apes you get in obviously the main games. But he was rubbish at it, and I was just sat there laughing at it basically. So
This doesn't surprise me, Meg.
Yeah.
Of you laughing, I mean, not
Well,
because
yeah.
there wasn't good again.
It doesn't surprise you that he's rubbish at the game. Yeah.
So, last Astrobot question then: what themed level would you like to see in like another game, or what theme level was missing?
I mean, oh my god. I mean, if they
That's a
let's
question for
I'm
everyone,
just
by the
if
way.
there was like a themed one, for example, like the Ape Escape, Uncharted, and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
How fantastic would it be if there was like a Parappa the Rapper one? How fantastic would it be? Like you just like because the music already when I was listening to the Tree of Funk track with Papa Tree, I was there thinking this could be a Parappa rap in itself. Like it had the same sort of like feeling and the fact Papa Tree repeated himself. And I'm like, what if they just did like you could find so many of the different teachers that Parappa like meets and stuff like that on his adventures. This could just be because I love Parappa the Rapper, but I think
Probably
no.
because the level I would choose would be Yakuza one, where you're going around beating up other bots and doing heat moves. So
None of the side missions.
then you go to a hostess club, you meet hostess Astrobot,
Can you imagine a bikini bot? Like,
and then it goes to a cutscene where the Astrobot's in a porn pool. So
And it's a real life model
But
robot.
it's the actual porn pool.
it's the woman with an Astrobot head on, like in a bikini. It can happen.
Okay, Victoria, give us something wholesome.
I mean, I was gonna say it's like I know that Bloodbot was in there, and I know that there was a spooky level, but I think a whole Yharnam would be pretty cool.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, and then like Father Gascoigne and like Sister Amelia. Yeah, like the dedicated blood. Oh my God, Lady Maria! Like get all of them.
The
Like
best boss.
I know that you got her in. She was in Playroom, wasn't she?
Yes.
She was like but like that'd be cool. Like going through Yharnam properly.
Imagine if like if there was a Bloodborne one, if there was how in the Astrobot levels there are sometimes little side areas when you like go in a door and then you have to unlock a bot through an obstacle course. Imagine if there was one with like Mikolash and you just have to chase like the Mikolash bot around, and when you hit him, that's when you get him.
I think I'd want Final Fantasy 14, like Gridania just jumping around on things and.
Would it be like Titan? I feel like it would be more like Titan, and it would just be Astrobots flying off this pillar, like
yeah.
with the music, but like Astrobot version.
Either that or I mean, like I was gonna say Jack and Daxter, but that's like very much just a platformer. But anything like Jack and Daxter is one of my favorite PlayStation things. What about yours?
I would say Shadow of the Colossus. So I
Ooh.
want like the big
Climbing
That would've
Colossus as
been
like the big
cool.
robots. and
That
stuff.
would have been cool.
Colossi?
Colossi.
Yeah.
All right. You correct my English. How dare. But yeah, because also it was Japan Studio, which is sort of now Asobi. So I'm like, can you just go back to your roots and do that? Love that game. I'm so excited about the new Ueda game. Oh my God.
Yeah, we're talking
Sorry.
about crying with excitement when that got announced.
The game was between
that-
the Elden
oh my
Ring
God.
spin-off and Ueda and then Akami coming back. I was like squealing. Absolutely
I
squealing.
screamed at Akame sequel. Oh my goodness.
It
I
looks
took my
gorgeous
friend at
already.
3:30. Oh, it does.
Did you see
Yeah.
someone
Project Century.
Yes, Project Sentry looks
Thank you.
fantastic as well. Literally, I think that was probably the most excited I was, but I was just like, oh my God, this just looks blooming brilliant.
someone tweeted Kamiya asking if the Akami 2 trailer was made from AI, and he replied being like, "Why you ask me such a stupid question? Go away."
Did he? Legend. Good man.
Oh,
I
do you see
can't
that?
believe I asked him that. What?
There was that AI one that was a bit weird.
The cat one.
Yeah,
Oh, Catly or something. That's
Yeah,
Catly.
terrible.
for the Apple Watch.
That looked awful.
There's
Is
some-
it really a game show if there isn't some terrible game in there?
I
Like,
don't even think it's going to be released. I think it's something's dodgy about that. Anyway,
Hmm.
Rosie, what was
Anyway,
your
yes.
second game?
Okay, so
Natalie.
Yeah.
my second game would have been Infinite Wealth, but instead of that, because like I said, Meg's spoken about it, my next one for me is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Hey, it's like we got it.
I can't believe you invited me onto an RPG podcast. Like what?
Because you're going to give us some contrast in a minute.
Yeah. With Rebirth, I'm after Costa del Sol, so that's how far I am.
Cool, that's good because then
Just
that
to
means
know.
that Anything after the beach, we do not talk about.
Ben got very excited with Semi-Naked Cloud.
I mean, yes, but also
I mean,
got
didn't we all? Ed?
I
I mean,
got very
No?
excited when I heard that the PS5 Pro made it run even better, so I waited for that, and I need to go back to it because I literally got the PS5 Pro just for Final Fantasy, for that and Dragon's Dogma 2, because I just those.
Oh, Dragon's Dogma 2.
Mm,
Just honourable mention. That was my number 4. Like,
that's great.
That was a fantastic time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, what a game. Like, I feel that just the whole internet, we already knew that when it was coming out, we knew that it was going to take the internet by storm. It was just going to be that one game that everyone spoke about, everyone was sort of doing the adventure with together, and that is exactly what happened. And I mean, it's just absolutely phenomenal. Not only does it look blooming gorgeous, but and also the combat is just fantastic. And they did just a couple of tweaks here and there, like the synergy abilities, just to make the combat a little bit more, adding a little bit more to it than Final Fantasy VII Remake did. But I think just the performances and the story and what they've done with the story and like the scenarios and stuff, it's just out of this world. It's so interesting and brave what they've just done in general with these remakes coming out with this. I don't want to say like reimagining, because it's still following this, like the basic premise, but just how they're making things different about it. It's so fantastic that even when you're in a situation where you're like, oh yeah, I know this area, like you're reliving that that caution and that unexpectedness of you don't know what's going to happen, because the game has clearly said we might do something you don't expect. So when you're reliving some moments from the original, you're still there thinking, oh god, I don't think they're going to do what the original did here. And so you're constantly feeling, I think I saw someone talk about, I think I saw an article about it recently, but someone said that it's done in a way that you're feeling the same emotions that like Cloud is feeling with some of these moments, which I was just like, genius. Like, and that is absolutely fair enough thing to claim. It's because I really do feel in a lot of times like as bewildered and confused about what's going on and stuff. It's so fantastic the way they've told the story, and also as a game itself, like it's a lot of fun to play. The characters, love them to pieces. Like Barrett, for example, in Costa del Sol, when he's in his sailor suit and he's so happy in his sailor suit, and like just bonding with your party, having the multiple choice conversations, and the performances, as I said, are phenomenal. All the voice actors did a phenomenal job with the characters, and it's absolutely filled with so much stuff to do. Like this is one that I don't even think I'm going to attempt getting the platinum for, because
The platinum is really
I'm
hard.
shocked. You turning down a platinum? What's going on?
Did Durante not say recently like he felt a bit bad about how hard he made that platinum?
Yeah.
I'm sure he made a comment recently on
He did,
that.
yeah.
It was because like the main thing that's the thing that I was just like, I don't think I could commit the time for this, is the fact that you have to do every single minigame pretty much to the
On
best
hard mode.
on hard mode. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Like, so you have to do everything to the best possible thing you could do. And already there was somewhere I was like, I think I did really good there. Oh, I think this could be a good old 3-star ranking, done it. And then you get like a 2-star and you're like not even halfway through or in the middle of the 2-star. I was just like,
I
gave
really
it my
do hope
all.
your internal monologue is in that voice.
Yeah.
I thought I'd done
Yeah.
it.
Oh, done it.
What? I've done it. Oh, come on, mate.
What?
It's not fair. What? You what? Final Fantasy
Oh,
7. What is this?
I gave up on the remake platinum, but I did manage to get the pull-up trophy, and I was like, okay, I've done that. I don't think I can. I played so much of that just to get that trophy that I
There is
gave
an
up the rest.
equivalent in
Yeah.
Rebirth.
Yeah, I can
'Cause I
imagine. So no.
Wait, so, with Rebirth, so I know there was the Chocobo racing. Sorry, I said that wrong, Ed.
Chocobo?
Chocobo. I said Chocobo, and you were like, when I said it in what range of minigames are we speaking? Are we talking like Legend of Zelda where you go and fetch stuff for people, or is it like each minigame is quite like expansive?
All of it. So you definitely have like some fetch quests or some escort missions. For example, there's a whole mission when you have to guide a dog who's delivering something to someone in like
Oh,
an area through the open world sections. As well, the open world, the fact this game's got open world, like it is a really big, huge world. fantastic.
I
But
love that the
back to
open worlds are like split up and you have to kind of travel by, I think, coach or somewhere to get to another one. So it
Yeah.
feels, because one thing I've had problems with open world games in the past that like epic RPGs is that it doesn't feel like an epic tale because you can just quickly fast travel right to the very beginning again and you can jot around anywhere as quickly as you want. Whereas this feels like you are making progress and it does take a while if you want to go right back to the very, very start. But you can still kind of move around in like the smaller areas like a Monster Hunter map.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing where, like, you know, I think there's such a big variety in the open worlds as well. Like, they've all got different themes and different environments for you to explore. And like, for example, there's one which I won't say, Ben, just because I know you haven't got there yet, but I know that I always associate that as being like the multi-layered one, for example, because there's like multiple different layers to it. And when I looked at the map, I got really lost at first, and I was like, oh no, wait, I need to consider the layers. But sorry, back to the minigame question. You can go from like things like that to
Queen's Blood, the card.
I mean, I was
yeah.
gonna bring up Queen's Blood. I mean, that
Yeah.
for me, Queen's Blood was my thingy. You said in Infinite Wealth, the Animal Crossing. thing.
Mondoko.
Dr.
Donnie
I was like,
Doko,
what?
that's the one.
It took me a minute to realise what you were trying to say.
I can't remember the name.
Donnie Doko.
Donnie Doko.
I
yeah.
see.
film.
Mondoko.
That was Queen's Blood was mine of like that is the one side quest that I have to finish for this review because I am obsessed with this card game. Like it's for me, it's like the best thing in it. I just want to play
It
Queen's
is.
Blood
They
all the
could-
time.
Just like Gwent, which I've never played in The Witcher, but they got a separate game for that. I can easily see them do a whole Queen's Blood separate game, like
No,
a
if
whole
they're
game.
going to do a
itself.
separate game, I want triple triad. I'm sorry. No.
No,
I'm with you on
I want
the
Queen's Blood.
triad.
Yeah.
I feel like Queen's
It's
Blood
a
has
better
more
game.
potential to do different modes, different things because there are different modes
There's
in
like
playing
the puzzle
it.
mode with
Yeah.
like the set cards, and then you've got to work out the right solution. And I loved that.
Get a new yeah. I can definitely see them having lots of different styles of Queen's Blood. It's great.
And also, I could never get tired of the music that plays in it. That jazzy
Oh,
tune
God,
is
yeah.
like. Da, 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 da,
Oh, it's just in Queen's Blood specifically?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
that's the
only
Queen's
in
Blood
Queen's
theme.
Blood, but honestly, it starts off. I don't know if you had this, Ed, but it starts off all like calm and sophisticated, like, oh, you're in a nice bar, and then just as it boots up, it's like when that jazz just kicks in, you're like, oh Lord, we're playing Queen's Blood. Like when you first experience it, it's fully like, boom, time
And
to get
then-
in on the excitement.
I don't know if you noticed, but as you get closer to winning, like the production builds up, and like the drums get more and more excited as you get closer and closer to victory.
That would
Yeah.
be quite tense. I think I'd be really like,
Yeah.
oh my god, like the music's with me.
It's so good. The music in general, like the J-pop
Oh, the
stuff
J-pop
is so
from,
good.
from that the woman that you rescue.
Yeah, the woman you rescue, I've forgotten her name. She's like a new character, and she's got like a whole J-pop theme, and you keep finding her in different
Oh.
places. And
Oh,
then
yes,
there's the
what's her
like little
name?
Bow Wow song,
Oh,
Lil-
no, like,
Lil Bow Wow.
something like that. There's a Bow Wow.
that was
Wow
such an
or
odd
something.
choice. You know, at the concert, well, like of the songs I would have predicted they'd put in, that was not one of them.
As that says, I'm pretty sure that I know that song purely because because Final Fantasy came up as like game of the Game Awards for music, didn't it?
Yeah.
And someone said you have to check it out because they have this Bow Wow song, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
But that was like top
But
recommendation. from this
Imagine
person.
sitting like obviously in a like a live venue watching a choir of, I'm going to say probably not gamers singing that without context, and I could just imagine them being like, "What am I doing with my life?" Like,
Yeah. Hope they're getting paid well.
I hope they loved it and they've all gone and bought the game and played it and become obsessed with Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Yes.
it was actually we actually went to the Final Fantasy VIII concert because we didn't. The announcer just couldn't read Roman numerals and kept calling it Final Fantasy VIII on the tannoy.
See, my
Oh,
Final
yeah.
Fantasy games, I've played 8, 9, 10, and 10-2. Those are the only 4 I've played, and 8
Oh.
is like,
Eight-
I
eight
love
is
8
brilliant.
so
Oh,
much.
nine's
Eight.
my favorite.
10's
Nine.
my
I-
favorite.
7.
7, 8, 9, and 10. There you go.
Oh, there you go. I've played everyone apart from You're Dead, sorry. I'll play 7.
Typical.
I meant to tell you though, Ed. Obviously, we went to like the day concert, but in the evening, no one had corrected that poor announcer. My friend went in the evening, and they still called it Final Fantasy VIII. No one told them.
Oh.
We went to
No
see
one
it
was like,
with
"You're
we
getting
went,
that
we
wrong."
went to see it with Thancred from 14.
Yeah.
Name drop.
Well, it's not a name drop. Pete. And then there was somebody wearing a 14 t-shirt, and we're like, oh, go on and say it. And he went and said hello to them, and they lost their mind.
Oh,
We embarrassed them.
that's so nice.
Yeah. He's
You
like,
have
"Oh,
a nice, sweet interaction. I saw a guy like grilling a girl because she played 14, and he was like, "Well, what level are you? What item level are you?" And I was just like, "Oh God!" Like,
I
walking
hate
away,
that
like,
so much. I was wearing a t-shirt once with Uncharted on, and someone was like, "All right, how's it end?" And I was like, "What do you mean, how does it end? Like, what? Who are you to ask me that question?"
Oh.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. That
Anyway,
is
sorry. Segue.
atrocious. Rosie, do you have a third game?
I do, literally. I had a look just on my list, and I'm like, oh my god, which one? Because which one do I pop there? Are we gonna do like a little honourable mentions roundup after all these?
Absolutely,
Yeah, we'll do
yeah.
so.
And we can mention a couple
Brilliant.
of ours as well, maybe.
Okay. Yes, of course. Yes.
No, very briefly.
So I'm going to say, just because this game, when it came out, loads of people were talking about it, and I was like, oh, I'll try it out at one point. But when I actually played it, I became obsessed with it, and that is Balatro or
Yes.
Balatro.
oh yeah.
Oh, because it's so I love card games. In the sense that when I was a kid, going on like just the holidays to a caravan site with my parents and family, we'd spend the evenings playing just card games, like the single player ones when you're a clock and you have to try and finish the clock and things like
No,
that.
sorry, I don't know this game, and now I need to know what it is. What is this clock card game?
Oh, so
Yeah,
you put the
You must know
card.
it.
So you
That's
put
not the card games I played with my family.
I played
What is it?
Solitaire.
Wait, you said
Wait.
it was single player. So did you
Oh.
all have a pack of cards and you just all?
Well, no. So this is where, like, if my parents were making breakfast in the morning,
okay.
I would sit there, and then set up the clock. But it's like, so you lay the cards down in like piles of 4, like a clock, and then you've got 4 cards in the middle. And when 4 kings get in the middle, you've lost. But you want to clear all the cards on the numbers of like the clock. And you start it by flipping the first inside card. So, for example, if that's a 6, you put that on 6, and then you take the next card, and you're like, okay, that's a 3. And then you keep on going around the clock. And then when you get 4 kings in the middle, then that's it. It's game over. It's a very. I've played a lot
new
of.
game of the year.
That
right
sounds
there.
quite
Game of
fun.
the
I'm down
year.
to try that.
Yeah.
That is
My-
the top
my
tier
grand-
game. I'm shocked you guys haven't heard of that.
I want to play it. My grandparents used to come round every Tuesday, and they'd come with a bag of dolly mixture, and they would make me and my brother play pontoon blackjack with them and gambling sweets. And if they taught me the
That's
value
quite
of that.
cool.
They did,
That's
but
very
then like
cool.
I like that.
you'd expect grandparents and stuff like if they win all the sweets, they would like give it to the kids after. Oh no, they took them home with them, so they taught me
Oh,
values of.
wow.
That's how you learn.
Exactly, that's how
Yeah.
you learn to win.
Exactly.
I mean, I would have rather had that. My nan used to make me sit and watch the Carry On films, which are not child friendly.
Well, like Barbara Windsor pinging off her bra and
Yeah,
her
but like
robot
the
bar.
whole all she had was like that, a VHS collection of Carry On. We weren't allowed to watch real TV. She'd be like, "You can pick one of the films." They were all Carry On films.
Carry On Camping. I remember that one really well.
Traumatized.
That's the one that
by it.
everyone seems to remember really well as Carry On Camping.
Never
Carry On
seen
Camping,
one.
yeah.
I haven't either.
No.
Only clips. I used to
Wow.
play gin rummy with my granddad. But my grandparents were in Devon, and he taught me such weird like Devonshire rules that like I can't play that game with anyone because it's like weird rules. Everyone's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm doing this." They're like, "No, you can't do that." So I could
Yeah,
only, I could
everyone's got
only ever
their
play with
house
my granddad,
rules, yeah.
and I can't play it anymore.
Oh, but yeah, it's games like that, or like cheat, or there's one when you have to like you have the 7s, and then I can't remember the names of them, but
Solitaire?
essentially.
Oh, no.
I love playing like all sorts of just fun card games, and it was actually my boyfriend who said, Rosie, he's like, I'm gonna buy this for you because I know you're gonna love it. So he bought it for me. I started playing it, and after hearing everyone seeming to talk about it, but all I knew was that people saying, oh, it's a roguelike poker game, and I was like, okay, right, so let's just try it out for fun. And then as soon as I did like that first round, and I was learning about the jokers, and I've never played actual poker. I've never like gambled or anything like that in my life. So when I was like being like, okay, right, so I'm remembering now, you got the full house, you got a flush, a 2-pair, all this jazz.
I can never remember them.
I'm learning
No,
thanks to
I know you
Blatro.
Yeah.
Yeah, like learning all these like things, and then how the game works. And at first you're playing it and you're thinking, oh, I've just got to get some really good Joker cards and stuff. But then when you actually take, for example, the tarot cards and the planet cards seriously, which are like 2 other elements, that's when like you go from I'm enjoying this and you're like, oh, I'm really enjoying this. And every run becomes like every run can be a completely different angle of approaching the roguelike system. For example, when I first finished my game, it was because I was leveling up flushes, and basically my whole deck was so that when I did a flush, it was going to cause some big numbers and big points. But then my mate Liam, because I got him to play it, because he loves Cyberpunk, and they added like a Cyberpunk deck to it, so that's the only reason that he got to play in it in the end. And then he messaged me a couple of weeks ago when he first finished it, but his was completely based on the fact that he had so much money, he kept on buying upgrades for a 2-pair. And I was like, oh my God, he beat the game. Doing. Yeah, he was like, he beat the game with just the 2-pair. The fact that sort of like excited me, I was like, oh my God, you have to tell me about this on a game that is so, I don't want to say like so just clear in its idea and what it is. And I love as well how the developer was literally just like, I made a game that I just wanted to make. And because you can really see that it's just, you know, an idea they had and they wanted to make it. So here it is. And here's for the whole world to enjoy it. But just the game itself is so good. The graphics, I think it's a beautiful game. Like the designs of the Joker cards and the variety. I won't lie, I've only won like 1 game of it, but that's because I love building on the collection. If I see a new card, even though it will completely ruin my run, I'm like, add it to my collection.
I've not even won one yet. I haven't even won a single thing.
I haven't won one yet.
No, but I bought it 3 times. I got it on Steam Deck, and then I didn't take my Steam Deck to TwitchCon, so I quickly, on the Eurostar Wi-Fi, downloaded it to the Switch. And then, well, I mean, I didn't buy it, but I've got a phone with Apple Arcade, so had to download it on there. So Apple Arcade is like where I play it now, but it's
where
I've had to restart my collection 3 times now.
It works really well on the phone, I think.
Yeah, so I bought it for Steam Deck, and then I was like, I should have just bought this on mobile so I can play it anywhere. And the next day, I bought it on mobile.
Can I
have
just
it for days.
Call attention to Ed's expression there? When Ben's like, I've never won one. Ed was like, what?
Yeah.
I've never won one either. I get as far as like 7, and then I'm like, oh.
Well, I misread one thing. I was getting close to winning, and it said like you could pay, and it would be like it's like 1 less ante, and I was like, oh, that's 1 fewer to win, but it wasn't. It put you down 1, so I was like, oh great, I've got to go and do an entire ante again. So that kind of messed me up.
I've definitely had moments where it says like, oh, it does this, and I've misinterpreted it, and then it's ruined my game. But then my justification is it's gone to the collection.
The worst thing I do is I go to pull a hand, but then I get distracted, and then I hit discard. And I'm when you've had a really good hand as well, and then you just press the wrong button, and you're just like, I've lost. Like the whole game's just gone.
I love that game. Like I don't vibe well with, which is weird, I don't vibe well with roguelikes. Very, very rare. Dead Cells was like the one exception I loved. But I'm not a massive roguelike, and I'm not really, like, I never really play cards. I'm not a fan of cards, never play poker or anything like that. But Balatro, just, I don't know why. I could, every train journey, because I get the Thames link up to London, it takes about 30 minutes. That just disappears. Like the second Balatro comes out, I'm like, oh crap, I'm going to end up in kind of Luton if I stay on any longer. I'm gonna have to get on.
Don't do that.
No.
I think it's because it's like multiple reasons, but I think one that I find is that like, for example, I like a roguelike where, like, I loved Hades, for example. Hades I fell in love with, but I loved it because you can technically do a run in like 20 minutes. And even if you die, it's like, you know, you can get back to kind of where you were pretty quick. And with Balatro, you can pause when you pause your run, when you come back to it, because it's still essentially a game of poker and you can clearly see what jokers you've done and stuff. You can easily jump back in rather than be like, oh boy, I'm in like the final stage and there's a really hard enemy and I need to warm up to it again. It's like the actual...
You say that, every time that happens to me, I screw up immediately, and I'm like,
really?
I should have started again.
Fair.
Like, just instantly, I screw
like
up.
A skill issue.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've got to get in the groove to. Yeah. No, I'm with Ed on this one.
No, Balatro, I'm the same. Like, I went and opened it up for the first time in 3 weeks, and somehow it remembered that I was still like halfway through a game and managed to continue with it, and didn't win, obviously, but.
Oh yeah, you're more likely to, because I swear I'm glad that you guys also haven't won, because I've had ages where everyone kept on saying I've done one. Like I was talking to Ash Millman and literally I introduced it to her and we played it all morning one day, and then when she got home she was playing it until like 3 a.m. and she was like, Rosie, I've won it already like twice, and I was like, what do you mean you've won it twice? Like this game that I'd already been playing for like a month or so, or a couple of months, and then you just had one night and already won it like twice. I was like, oh my god, I'm terrible. So the fact that you guys,
I've done it twice, but I found no, I don't mean to show off. I found like I feel like I got quite an easy way of doing it, which was because you get the different decks of cards, and I unlocked one that is basically only 2 suits instead of 4. And if you use that one and then go all in on flush, because then it's really easy to get flushes.
And then you had one as well that only needed like 3 cards for a flush, didn't you?
Yeah, and then there's a joker that's only 3 for a flush. And then I think I had one where the first card that you played, it would get discarded, but you'd then get a permanent copy. So every time I got an ace, I just used that first as a lone card. And I ended up with a deck that was just full of aces, all of like the same suit. And only needed 3 cards, and then it's like you're just wiping the floor.
It's wild how many tactics and different ways you can play that game.
There are so many ways.
Yeah, like
I think that's my problem. I don't pick a plan and stick with it and perfect it. I'll be like, I'll try this run. I'll try this run, and that's why I don't win.
That's also part of the joy of it, because you are trying out new things, and that's what's so exciting and fun about it.
And the one thing I do like about it is I got to the 6th ante on my very first go. Like literally already one of the first 3 goes was literally I got to the 6th ante, so it doesn't necessarily. It's just how things fall. You could end up, beating the game.
It's luck.
Like you could just I could pick it up now and end up doing a whole thing, completing it. But it's just, I don't know. It doesn't punish. It's not something that will take hours and hours of grinding to get to the end, like some roguelikes.
Awesome. It's not Returnal.
Yeah.
No, thank goodness.
That's a fucking brilliant game.
Love it. What a fantastic game that is.
Nemesis is still my nemesis. Like, I love that game. That game is amazing.
But I also just want to say with Balatro, one more thing is I love the music in it.
Yeah.
Because it's literally just, it's essentially, I know it's probably more than one track, but it just feels like one continuous track.
It's really hypnotic.
But it's so hypnotic, and you just forget that it's there, but it's there the whole time, and it's so good and relaxing and soothing. I just want to say, top-notch soundtrack to Balatro.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Right then, so that was Balatro and Astrobot and 7 Rebirth. 3
Sorry if I went on
choices.
for a bit.
No, please. I hope you don't mind if we're keeping you. Because filming this quite late.
No, I could talk about video games all night.
I love listening to your talk about like hearing people so excited and infectious. Like it's like I'm so excited to listen. It's really, really nice to listen.
Yeah, there's so many games I really want to play now after you've all talked. Like Metaphor, luckily, is already on there. Balatro, I'm going to be playing that on the way to work next. It's like, just makes you want to play them all the time. Oh, and Like a Dragon as well. I need to go back and finish that.
Yeah, I was going to be like,
promise.
hang on a minute.
Like I said, Like a Dragon is my Christmas game. But also, so I'm currently playing Dragon Age. I've got Like a Dragon to play. I've got Dragon Quest to play. And I was going to play Dragon's Dogma. So I've got a lot of dragons over
It is
Christmas.
the year of the dragon this year. So,
Is it?
Is it actually?
Yeah. Is it actually?
Yeah.
Oh no
Genuinely.
way.
Makes sense. Then.
Oh, well, that's
Wait,
that's
that was
fitting.
Fun
Like-
fact, obviously next year is the year of the snake. And Majima, obviously, snake skin. Snake
Ah.
Yeah, the eye
Oh my
patch as
gosh.
well with the little snake on it. Oh, Meg,
Oh.
genius.
It was all
It's all planned.
pre-told or all foretold. That was it.
I think
Yeah.
I don't know what the next animal is, but it's probably going to be like a horse or a pig or something, and then it's going to go out the window, and they'll be like, "Oh, we
Rat.
don't have a character for that."
Just a rat.
If only Indiana Jones had been delayed an extra month or 2.
Yeah.
But on PlayStation, it's coming out in the Year of the Snake.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
let's go with
course.
Victoria's top 3. And
So-
you might have just spoiled one of them.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, do you want me to go like my top 2? Like, because I have quite a lot. Like I'll only mention 3, but like, do you want me to go from like 1 to 3 or?
Go on then. Give us your
However-
favorite one.
however you wanna go.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright,
This
okay,
is-
so my
it's your
favorite
podcast.
game this year, which I actually don't have as much to say about other games, and it was such a surprise to me, was I Am Your Beast, which is it was Strange Scaffold, and it's this basically. Do you guys know I Am Your Beast?
No,
No.
I
I'm going to
haven't
bring
heard
it up
of
here
it.
so I can see it.
It's just a really
I'm as in the
like.
dark about this as I was the clock game. Like,
Okay, it's just like I should say I hate this word, but I can't think of a better word to describe it. It's just a really fucking cool game. like it's basically it's like a sort of like short condensed level shooter basically, but it's all done with this like really cool like kind of pop art style, and it's the controls are super slick. You're in this little condensed area, you have to fight off these so basically like it's a very loose story, but basically you are this kind of veteran agent and you keep getting pulled in for like one last job, but eventually you don't want this one last job, so you say no, and then like the rest of the CIA equivalent comes to get you, but you get them first. And so you're basically like full on Rambo. And it's just one of the most satisfying games I've ever played. And I'm not like, so I tend to like point and click adventures. I love puzzles and I love narrative rich. This game is none of those. And yet it completely hooked me. It was addictive. And it was because the levels were quite short, little, like very fast moving little bursts of levels. They were the kind of things like I would maybe play a level like when I had a cup of tea between writing news stories for Eurogamer, like I would just go and have a quick go on a level on Steam, and it's just a lot of fun. It's very like it's quite like high paced, like the music's quite high octane, the area makes you feel quite like tense and alert in a good way, and then the actual gunplay is really satisfying. If you run out of ammo, you can just like throw your gun, and then the actual I sound like I'm getting a little bit like I'm getting off on the violence. I'm not, but
I know, no
when
judgments here.
when you stomp on someone's head, oh my god, it's satisfying. It's just
we're just looking at some gameplay, and like the headshots on those look really enjoyable.
I
it's
feel like you'd really enjoy
such-
this.
Yeah.
it's just one of those things like so I know some people said they completed it in like a few hours. I still haven't completed it. I'm not very good. I'm not a first person shooter person, but I also feel compelled to play it even though I'm crap. And then like you can go back and like the aim is to try and get like through the level as quickly as you can, and you get like a little like S tier ranking or whatever. But it's just like I said, it's a really cool game.
Did you play?
That's the
I was
It
gonna say,
sounds
did you play?
awesome.
Yeah, did you play Angerfoot?
no, but it is on my wish list. I want to.
Because that
It
seems like
popped up.
similar-ish vibe, as
Yeah.
in like it's just really high octane. You kind of kick a door open and you're blasting through and trying to shoot enemies, and then go to the next one, and it's it looks
Yeah.
really cool.
It was just, and like if I was having a bit of a like a shitty day, it was just really satisfying to go and just load people full of lead basically and like throw guns at them and stomp on them and get to the end and be like, yeah, fuck you. That was kind of the energy that it had.
I love that energy.
That was it. It was so good. So that actually, even though it's not a game, like on paper it is not a me game, was my game of the year.
Amazing.
I like
But-
stuff like that though. Like when something surprises you, I
Mm.
think it's
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, the only reason I played it is because it was a Steam demo, and I was like, you know what? Sure, I've liked this person, like the studio before. I'll give it a shot. And then I was like, no, I want to play more. Like, give it to me. And then it came out, and I obviously did play more. And it's just like, and it had a really good soundtrack. Like everything just married together into this really cool little package that was. I don't think it's a game that I could sit and play for hours and hours and hours. Like I think I would probably feel quite nauseous. Like it is quite an assault of the senses, which I realize it doesn't sound good when I say it like that, but for that brief period, it's very, very fun. So that would
Amazing.
be my game of the year, despite not being a Victoria game at all.
Mhm.
Like I don't think anyone would recommend that game to me because they just assume I would hate it. But I loved it.
You play some shooting
I-
games occasionally.
I do. I mean, I'm not bad at COD.
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
Better than Ed
I-
then.
So well,
Excuse
Ed
me?
Ed knows this story. When I was pregnant with my first, it was around the time the first Call of Duty Black Ops came out, and I was playing that quite a lot, like on my. I think I was playing it on the Wii, and I had one of the little like.
Oh no!
yeah.
Light
I had-
guns.
Yeah, the little stand that you could like put your nunchuck in,
Wow.
and I was playing a
What
lot
game
of
to
Call of
play?
Duty when I was pregnant on my yoga bouncy ball thing because I had all the sciatica and all this wonderful pregnancy magical time. But then there was one night, and my son would not stop crying, and like we had tried everything, my husband and I, like we had done like different kind of lullabies, different kind of feeding techniques. We had walked around with him, we'd burped him, we'd left him, nothing was working. And my husband was like, look, you need to go to work tomorrow. I'm still on maternity, whatever. I'll take him through to the living room. I'll just play some Call of Duty and I'll write it out.
Drown out the crying.
I'll show our baby just some Call of Duty. That'll calm him down.
That's the thing though, because then literally as soon as the Call of Duty menu started up, he was fast asleep. And I realized he obviously had heard it like in the womb.
Oh my god!
Some people play
Amazing.
classical music to their unborn baby.
I
Oh
was
my
there like leading an AK-47 or whatever. And he was like, "Oh yes, lullaby."
Just like home.
And so my son fell asleep, and it was. I mean, I still played for a few hours. I should have gone to bed maybe, but I was like, "Excellent, Call of Duty gets my baby."
Oh, and how old is he now?
He's now 11.
Is he allowed to play?
That's what should have been the
Of course not.
marketing quote for,
I was on
Puts my baby
Radio
to sleep.
2 to talk about it. Yeah, I spoke to Dermot O'Leary about it with because he was on inappropriate lullabies. I was like, I have the most inappropriate lullaby. So yeah, Call of Duty got my son to sleep. So
Amazing.
I do like the occasional shooter, but generally now, my games do tend to be action adventure, puzzle based, narrative based, which then segue leads me into da 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 da. I can't put it on over the headphones, but you get the idea.
Oh, we've got one. Ed,
Um,
Oh, hang on. Oh,
where's yours?
hang on.
Yeah.
We've got one.
It's on your
Indiana
skull.
Jones,
It's on my skull. It is on the skull down there. Yeah, it doesn't fit on my head.
Indiana of the school.
No, hats never do.
Was a cowboy with a pirate background.
I love it. It balances on your headset
It
really
does.
nicely. Look at that.
That is a look. This
No.
is the thumbnail.
Getting a view of Ed's pajamas here.
Like, so
I
then
might have
this
broken
would
your
be.
skull, but
Oh, Ed,
It's
let's see how
fine.
good you look in it.
But my Watchdogs Legion skull. That's my cowboy hat. That's not it.
I tell
That's
you
not
what,
the
Oh.
right hat.
yours looks better than
You
mine.
can't
that one
even
I-
get this right.
Well, I
Ed.
did cosplay as Arthur. No, it ended up being like Woody from Toy Story, but like no hats ever fit me, so I had to go on on
Where's my hat
Amazon
then?
to
What
find
have
like
you
an
done with it?
extra big hat, extra big cowboy hat. I'll
What
find
did
it. I
you
think
do?
it's up there.
I mean,
can
mine-
Anyway, this is
confirm
really
that
exciting.
they
We've got a
have
hat.
An Indiana Jones hat. I saw them with it at Gamescom.
There you go.
There
Well,
we go.
yeah,
there we
that-
go.
So this is the one from this is actually someone sent it to me from the London event previews. So I assume it's possibly the same as yours.
Probably, yeah.
Um,
It's quite hard.
Yeah, it's a really nasty, cheap bit of.
Yeah.
Let's wear it together.
I was gonna say, well, they both fit on your headsets beautifully.
I know. I tried to. So my friend who gave it to me, I tried to send him a selfie, and it was just like here, because you couldn't. It was so big, it wasn't a good picture.
I'll do that.
But
I just have to hold my
I-
headphones.
love Indiana Jones. Like, oh, you actually look really adorable.
Don't let me distract you. Continue.
Don't make me feel cute.
If you
Get
let
your
me
whip,
show you
get your
that-
whip
yeah,
out
but-
as well, Ed.
Ed
Yeah,
looks a
Jones.
bit like a hipster though.
Oh,
what I mean?
then it's coming off in that case.
Like Preston from the Ordinary Boys.
I think it was the combination of the glasses with the hat and the headphones. It just gave like
The whole vibe.
hipster wanker vibes.
That's
Yeah.
not my vibe at all.
Mhm.
I don't think you look like a wanker.
Why don't you
Anyway,
look
Indiana
like one
Jones.
normally?
Anyway, Indiana Jones. I love Indiana Jones. Like, it's one of my favorite. Like that probably. So when I was younger, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, and video games were kind of the things I had in common with my brothers who were a little bit older than me. So they were friends, and I was like nerdy little sister that kind of wanted to be in with their cool group. And so I actually was, I think, hypercritical on this game before it came out because I was so anxious they were going to get it wrong. And I remember I did a hands-off preview for Eurogamer, and I was a little bit like, they've obviously been really faithful, but is it enough? It's enough. They did such a good job. And I think what they did really, really well, and I won't spoil, I should say I completed the game. I completed the game very, very quickly because I just could not put it down. So I completed the game in,
A weekend.
I think I completed it in a weekend. I just sat there and I was just like oh, it was amazing. But I think you guys have for me to talk about like content.
Yeah.
I got to the I got to the next one. I'm trying to like to avoid what the following worlds are because I love being surprised, being like, oh my god, we're in.
Well, I will literally just tell you like the very opening then. So I think that Machine Games and Bethesda did really well is the fact that they opened it with a scene from a film.
Yeah.
Is that enough? Is that vague enough?
Oh yeah, no,
Oh.
feel free. No, it's just I'm trying to
Okay.
avoid like knowing where the next
No, I
where the
know.
next locations are based because it's a bit like
and I think-
Uncharted in that like you every other world you go to, every level is just like somewhere completely different and just blows you away.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, the final area I had no idea about, and it was very
Nice.
cool to see that. So I won't say anything. But I love the fact that the way they opened it is they opened it from a very famous scene from one of the films of the original films, not the sort of two afterthought ones. And I thought that was a really, really smart move as a developer because it immediately made you feel like this is the indie you are playing, and this kind of like it set the tone really well for the time that you were playing indie as, if that makes sense. And I thought using something that was known as a tutorial was very, very cleverly done by Machine Games and Bethesda, to the point that actually my brothers, who now don't play games as much as they used to, because they don't do it for work, and obviously they've grown up and whatnot.
As I say, they grew up while the rest of us didn't.
Yeah, and I
We
stayed
stayed as
forever,
children.
forever young, but they're so old. But I actually sent them a picture from the game. I was like, "Can you believe this is a game and not a film?" They're like, "What? No!" And it was really cool to share that with them again now, like what 30 years later from when I first watched the film with them. And it's just like I kind of hate when people talk about like a love letter to the franchise, but this really does feel what. Oh yeah, sorry, you used that.
Yeah. I thought I saw her roll her eyes when you said
We're
that.
silently seething like she said the line.
I saw Victoria rolling her eyes when you said that. I was like, I wasn't going to say anything.
Love letter.
Cut to her. When I say it, cut to her and go to slow down. Like, you see the disgust on her face. Like,
Black and white filter, bit of reverb there.
Oh no! Anyway, I'm not a big fan of that expression, but anyway, doubling down on it.
Yeah. Go back down.
But this is, to borrow from Meg, this is a love letter to Indiana Jones. And they've done such a great job. And there's so many really cool little like nods to the films as well. Like you really do feel that the indie you are playing is the indie that was, in Raiders of the Lost Ark, etc., and Temple of Doom. Like this is Harrison Ford's indie, even though it's played by Troy Baker.
But the
and I should
voice
say
acting.
he does do an okay job. I know loads of people praised him. I think you can still tell it's him, but I think that's also because I am so
it goes in and
hypercritical
out.
of
I
indie.
think. Do you think? Like,
Yeah.
I haven't played a lot of it. My husband's playing it, and I think the voice does go in and out of it. There's points where you're like, that sounds spot on, and then there's points where you're like, oh no, I can hear it's Troy Baker.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know if that's also because I work in video games and so obviously hear Troy Baker a lot.
Too much.
But also because I love indie. So for me, I can tell it's Troy Baker. not
You know
Harrison
what?
Ford.
One of the first things I noticed is that you've got Indiana Jones Lego behind you, and now it all makes sense.
It all
I was
makes
going to
sense.
say, Victoria's like top franchises are Indiana Jones, Uncharted, and Tomb Raider.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
I see a theme. Yeah.
Well, let's see. So we've got what? There's Uncharted, Monkey Island, Tomb Raider, Uncharted, Zelda, Last of Us, and Zelda. Yeah, I like adventure.
So a lot of people then were sort of comparing this back to Uncharted because Uncharted is so indebted to Indiana Jones.
What's the thing? Because I think Tomb Raider and Uncharted have all kind of stemmed from Indiana Jones, and that was another thing that I was really concerned about when I saw the preview, which again was a hands-off preview, was the fact that Indy had his little journal that he flipped up. I was like, oh, that's just like Drake's journal. Like, is this just going to be Uncharted in Indiana Jones' skin? And like, I appreciate that one influenced the other, but at no point when I was actually playing it did I think that. And which I thought was, again, it was a really impressive achievement. Like the indie, like the mannerisms of Indian things, even though, again, like I said, Troy Baker sometimes did sound too Troy Bakery, it was still very much he was indie. And like the way he reacted to things that Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones would react to, again, I'm not going to give any spoilers, felt very true to the source, but with enough difference to make it feel like this is a whole new game and a whole new adventure for him, which was very, very cool. And it was really well done. And again, I also thought it was really good was the fact that they brought in Gina, obviously, who we've seen in the trailers. She's with him for a lot of the adventure. They also, I won't say where, but thank God for cutscenes, because there was one point where you're with Gina and you're exploring. And I went from A to B going via LMNOP and went off exploring. And then I realized I couldn't actually find Gina. I totally lost. And so eventually, just by chance, I happened across where I was meant to be, and thankfully she turned up in a cutscene and we were reunited. I was like, it's gonna be really awkward if I have to go back and find her because I have no idea where I've left her. But it was like they also introduced so I mentioned they had like little Easter eggs. So at the very beginning when you're at Marshall College, you see Marcus Brody again, who is known in the Indiana Jones series. but then like you meet other people. It's not just indie having this isolated adventure. 'Cause sometimes there are some video game series where I feel sometimes you need someone else, like with the Horizon series, for example, when Aloy's just talking to herself.
Oh,
You
she never
kind of
stops.
well, yeah.
Howard.
But like it was nice that he actually had this person that like also when you're just looking around and there's a bit of banter, so it's not just empty noise or them talking for the sake of it. And like I won't spoil who they've introduced or when they've introduced them, but there are some really engaging characters that are totally new to the series that I just adore. Like the a particular character in the Vatican I love with my heart and soul.
Is it the
He's-
Pope?
Yes, it's the Pope.
It's the Pope. The Pope
With an
decided he
indie
didn't
hat
want to be
on.
the Pope anymore, and he wanted to go and, you know.
You know what we did? We attached some rifles to the Pope-mobile and we blasted our way through. It was excellent.
Oh, I'm
Now
trying to
that
remember
is
who that is
gaming, my
now.
friends.
You were
See-
you were inspired to watch the film, weren't you, Ben?
Yeah, I was inspired to start the
Wait,
film.
sorry, you hadn't watched the film?
I'd seen bits and bobs.
That was my reaction. Thank you, Meg.
I'd seen the odd thing. I saw the bit where he puts the bag of sand in the beginning, and obviously like running from the ball. I think that's
So
all in the first
two
few
bits
minutes.
that are like
Yeah.
parodied the most.
You know
right?
that
Yeah.
bit
Okay.
running from the ball.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sorry.
they're not really ever interested me. Jurassic Park,
Get
fully on board with
out.
that. Love that. But no, then we watched it, and I lasted about 20 minutes. And I was like, nah.
Get out of my podcast.
But
I
I
watched
lo-
I watched the whole thing and was like, oh yeah, this is great. I remember this from years ago because I haven't seen it in forever.
But
But
it was
I
like,
appreciate that you enjoyed the game regardless.
I mean, I don't like films. I mean, spoiler alert. Well, the next podcast might be out before this, but we saw Wicked, and I didn't enjoy that either. So like,
Neither did
I
I,
don't
but-
like films. I just generally am a bad film person. I think like people will love a
You-
film, and I just won't.
I used to talk to you about Hot Frosty, but that's a
Oh
different
my
podcast.
god, I watched Hot Frosty.
I
Oh
watched
god,
Hot
it's
Frosty.
terrible.
That's another podcast.
Oh, Rosie, have a Google of Hot Frosty.
Google Hot
Do I
Frosty.
dare have a
Rosie.
Google?
Have you seen
I watched
Schitt's
Hot
Creek?
Frosty in attempt
Yeah, I was
against
gonna say
Christmas.
it's Ted from Schitt's Creek, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Ted from Schitt's Creek looking.
Strange.
He looks awful.
No, I think
He looks awful. They've literally made a plot around his abs and forgotten about the face.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I think he's been on. Someone says like he's
That's
dehydrated.
a lot
and
of
bit-
abs. Like that's
Yeah.
even on that cover art. It's like his guns are in the mid.
The
like,
movie goes exactly how you think it's gonna go.
oh yeah, there's nothing to be surprised by. They have built a plot around his abs and put a Christmas wrapper on it.
It's like they made his body weight, or like his body fat, like 1% or something, and it just that can't be healthy for.
Do you know what really freaks me out about this though? He goes back at one point and talks to the other snowmen as though that they could also come to life. Is there going to be like a snowman revolution?
Yeah, but surely they would have all melted, obviously, at the end. So he had to watch his friends die at the end, basically, and you don't see it. I'm just saying.
Wait, is that guy with the from the cover with the arms? Is that a snowman?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's come to life.
Come to life.
Thanks
This
to
is
the help
nothing
of
like
the-
Jack Frost.
Brought to life by Gretchen Wieners from Mean Girls.
A magic
Yeah.
scarf, yeah. But
Stop
to
trying to make
clarify,
fetch happen.
the snowman did look like that. Like it was like like an Adonis sculptured.
She was a bit weird.
snowman.
Who'd
He
made that?
wasn't. He
Yeah, he wasn't
like
like 3 balls.
And they
Yeah,
never
and
said that. They never said who made the snowman. So somebody designed him, and they never got to the bottom of that.
yeah, and it was a
Got to win the
competition.
competition.
Yeah, so someone must have been like, someone's ruined my entry.
It's like, what the fuck is this?
Competition ruined.
I
Yeah.
spent ages sculpting those abs. And it's
Yeah.
slow.
And now
he's
some other
gone.
woman's banging him.
And it's shacked up with some widow. Like, what the hell?
Oh god.
I'm gonna tell everyone in the neighborhood that I won.
I definitely won the best snowman. He's
Yeah.
so good. He's real.
Uh,
Indiana Jones. Anyway.
Sorry,
yes.
Going back to indie, like I am a massive fan of indie. Like Victoria watched it when I was younger, and I think a lot of the pre-release stuff kind of put me off. There was a lot of obviously grumblings, and people weren't really selling it in a positive way. So I've kind of steered clear of it. And my husband's like, no, it's quite good. I'm really enjoying it. And I've done that typical thing where I'm like, oh, I don't listen to him. But now that you said it's quite good, I might give it a chance.
I think the thing as well, the thing that really bothered me is the fact that in the preview that I had, Indy was, like I said, he was a little bit over explainy and things, but you can adjust that in the accessibility menu. So you can change like how many hints you get, how easy puzzles are, etc. So it is actually pretty customizable for your gameplay once.
I like the 2 difficulty options because there's one for
Yeah.
puzzles and a difficulty for
Yes.
action.
Combat.
Yeah.
So there were times where like I did scale back the combat a little bit, but like I kept the puzzles at a reasonable rate because that's kind of my bag. And I like that you could do that. And I also like the fact that you could do that like if there was an area where you were constantly hitting your head against the wall, you could be like, right, I'm just gonna scale it back now. So it's not like you have to like kind of commit to what you started off with. But it was just really, really well done. And also the world, so from the previews and things, like it made it look very, they were like, oh yeah, Indy can go off and like explore the world. And I was like, can he though? Like, you're not showing me this. But he really can. Like, I think the Vatican area, which is one of the first areas you go to, which they have shown in trailers, I know people who have spent hours, and I mean hours, just in that area because there's so much that you can explore
It's quite
in that
sort of
area.
open world.
I spent my entire first stream,
Mhm.
which was like 8 hours, just going around there, doing all the little extra bits. I
Yeah.
didn't collect everything at all. Like, there was still so much to do.
No, I mean, so I've gone back now that I've completed it, because I should say like I completed it very, very quickly because I was so excited. Now that I've completed it, I am going back to different areas and like I'm exploring more, and there's just so much thought that's been put into it, which I really, really appreciate.
What do you think about the first person? Because I mean, I love machine games. Like Wolfenstein is generally one of my favorite first person shooter games. The New Order and New Colossus, was that the one as well? Which was the one with the brother and sister? Because that one I only played a little bit.
Oh, I just thought it was Wolfenstein. I didn't realize there was a.
Yeah, there are multiple. I haven't played any of them.
The ones with machine games, but those ones I just adored, and these play just like them. Like the first person feels, and I was wondering how like combat would work, but I mean, for me, it works brilliantly, I think, and it gives its own identity compared to something like Uncharted.
Was it? I mean, because at first I was a bit anxious about the first person because generally when I play games, so I should say like my favorite franchise is Uncharted, then it's Tomb Raider, then it's The Last of Us. So I generally do go for third person. And I was a bit anxious about that, but then I think the combat works really, really well, and like the whip, I should say, is really cool to use. And I was a bit worried when they said that it would flip between first and third person, so you'd go
That's
into
what
third
worried
person when you're
me.
climbing.
Or
But
when you're swinging
actually,
across, it's like I watched that and I was like, oh,
yeah. But weirdly, when you're actually playing it, it does seem pretty slick. Like the
Okay.
switch between the two perspectives does actually work really well. Because I was like, that's going to be horrible for people who have like motion sickness or anything like that. Like, that's going to be so user friendly. For me personally, anyway, it actually worked really, really well, and it did seem to be quite seamless
I have a
between
question
1
for
to 2.
you though. If you could, snap your fingers and make it third person, do you think it would be better for it?
I actually don't think it would, which is something I'm surprised to say. I actually think, and also one of my favorite bits, which is maybe a bit of a random thing to think of a favorite bit, but it was pretty cool, like walking around the world in first person and then catching sight of my shadow, and my shadow was there in Indy's like
Iconic.
iconic, and I was like, I'm Indy. Like it's so cool, and it was very much like I am Indy because it was in the first person, but you could see the shadow. And I think because they have leaned into story quite a lot. Again, I won't spoil anything. So there is plenty of cutscenes and things where you will get moments where you see the Harrison Fordness, and you will see the world around you being told through this kind of storytelling way, rather than just first person chaos, which it quite often was with me. I think I had a body pile at one point. I should have sent you a screenshot. I had a body pile at one point, like 25 Nazis, because I was hiding in a room because I'd cocked up the stealth. And I was just like plucking them off as they came through a door. And it was just like they were just piling up. I was like, am I going to be able to get back out?
Oh my god.
But because it has those storytelling elements where you then see Indy, and then it has the fact that you can see Indy in like the shadows, and it's really well done as well, even in the menus. So like if you pause the game or restart the game, it actually, the menus are stills from the game, if that makes sense, and it obviously remembers what you're wearing and things, and it kind of like starts you off in third person, then you kind of become Indy and start playing. It's really cool.
Yeah, the opening menu is literally that. When you click new game, you just go straight in.
I need to add this to my Christmas list.
You do, and I don't think you can play.
I was annoyed because, like Meg, it wasn't on my radar at all, and now I'm like, oh shit, the reviews are really good. I don't have to play it.
I was so nervous about it, and I think whenever the previews came out, I was probably the hardest person on it, and I don't know if that's because I love it so much, like Indiana Jones as a franchise. I really didn't want them, and like to be fair, the stuff that they showed in preview, I didn't think they showed the most interesting bits. Like they showed a mirror puzzle, which, let's face it, everything under the sun has a mirror puzzle. and they had very
Broken
stage
Sword
management.
has a mirror puzzle. Not this latest game, but one of them.
Well, see, I mean, they've been going back for years, clearly.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, but actually now when it's carried through, and the end, which I won't spoil, I was genuinely like, oh, it's so good.
I've already done my game of the year
ah.
list now. Like, what am I meant to
know.
do?
Gonna become
Like,
Meg's Christmas game now.
yeah.
There was one bit though which I was fucking terrified of.
Was
I
it the
won't. I
spider?
won't spoil it. It wasn't a spider. No,
Okay.
I
I'm
was
not
gonna
scared
say,
of
is it
spiders.
like something like spiders or snakes or something?
Well, there's a spider in the blimmin' opening, and I literally Ben was streaming. And I was like, I can't watch.
Yeah.
But that's kind of that's pretty quick.
Okay. Are there any more spiders?
There's no more spiders.
Okay, great. Fine.
There
Except
was
that
something
giant
else
one.
though that I'm not going to spoil.
There's something worse.
That, well, it's worse if you're me, but I don't know. It depends on how well you know me. But Ben, text me because there's an area where I was like, oh my god,
Ooh.
and like even like the noise that comes with it, like it's wow.
Hmm.
Sorry, Rosie, I read your
Oh, I'm
PlayStation.
intrigued
It's coming to
now.
PlayStation soon. Play it when it comes to PlayStation.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say it's just coming everywhere.
That's great.
Yeah.
No, more people can play it, the better.
hmm
I mean, I love
Yeah.
Indiana Jones, so literally this whole time I've just been like, just thinking back on the films and the adventure that's to be had. So,
It's very like if you like the original trilogy, this is very much in it. It's like playing through one of those films, to the point that I was like to my brothers who, like I said, don't play games. I was like, if you're going to play a game, play this one, please. Like it'll just take you back to that time.
Mm.
So
Amazing.
Yeah.
So
So, what is
yeah.
your third game?
well, see, I have 5.
Okay.
Um,
Have we already mentioned any of them?
can I do some honorable mention? Well, an honorable mention is Dragon's Dogma.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, well,
And I
let's do
should
let's do honorable
read-
mentions at the end because we'll go around because I think Rosie has some as well.
Okay.
I could tell.
Uh,
I remember.
I'm trying to now.
Oof.
I mean, are you guys going to be doing your top as well?
Yeah. Well, not tonight.
No.
Okay, well,
We'll say that.
thank
Otherwise, we'll be
you.
here till
Yeah.
midnight.
thank goodness you're here. I don't know what to do next now. All right, okay, fuck it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to say the Tomb Raider collection that came out at the start of the year. for my
Wait,
two.
I was tempted, but I was like, oh, that was one of my honorable mentions.
Okay, there you go. Tomb Raider collection, and this is purely not necessarily because they were particularly. I mean, they were great remasters or remakes, whatever they were, but nostalgia points was just off the chart. I love those games. They were so much fun. I love the fact that you could flip between like tank controls and more modern controls.
I
where
was
they'll,
gonna
like,
say,
change
which
the
controls did you
graphics.
use?
It depends. I flicked depending on where I was in the game, because tank controls you could kind of work out like steps, almost like a grid.
Yeah.
That's what I really like about the old Tomb Raider games, is that it's almost like mathematical of working out, okay, well, there's 2 squares, and that means I can do this kind of jump, and I need to run here and do that. And it's that
Yep.
precision, which I guess you wouldn't get if you didn't use tank controls.
So I use those, like, when you go to Croft Manor and you go to obstacle course, I did all that in tank
We
because
can't-
it was
we
so much
can't-
easier.
Talk to Ben about that.
I did beat it in the end. But that was as a kid.
Oh,
As a kid, I couldn't finish it because I was terrified of going underwater, and like that was like a fear, a real phobia. Like the bit where you swim underwater and you can't get up, I just couldn't do. So I never
But that
completed
is
it. as a kid.
terrifying in Tomb Raider, to be fair.
Yeah, swimming underwater, I can't do. I never finished Tomb Raider. I just used to cheat to get to the next level.
Oh, I did that as a kid so many times.
Yeah.
yeah.
Too scary.
I mean, when I was a kid, I was too. To be honest, when I was a kid, I mostly played the obstacle course because I was
Same.
Yeah.
scared of like.
Locking
But also,
Jeeves.
again, my brother's coming into this. Like, they used to tell me that if something happened to me in a video game, I'd feel harmed in real life because they were awful to me when I was younger. I love them so much now. Head of James. would never-
Older brothers, yeah.
Yeah. But they used to like be like, yeah, like don't die, otherwise there are consequences, and I'd be like, ah! So I remember spending a lot of time in Croft Manor when I was younger, and you were about to say it, locking Winston in the freezer.
Yeah.
The first, like when I first played Tomb Raider 2 with I let my kids watch a little bit. I should say I was playing it, they came in, I was like, right, we'll go to Croft Manor because that's safe. And I was like, you have to go, like, watch mommy do this, and I made them watch me walk the butler into the freezer, and they shut the door, and they're like, now what? And I'm like, now we wait. Everybody was there like blue, and they're like, "Mummy."
I was gonna say, what were their reactions? Because whenever I do that to my son, I'm like, look at this hilarious thing I used to do. He looks at me like as if I'm the uncoolest person ever. Like, this is not entertaining.
It's like, no, this is what you do. if you
Yeah,
play
This is
Tomb
the
Raider.
best thing to do in the world. when we played
Yeah.
Tomb Raider
Yeah.
2.
I still can't
Yep.
do the maze thing where you have to get with that while the door's closing. It's still like with tank controls. Still can't get my head around doing that quickly enough.
Those games, and I'm so like honestly when they announced it earlier in the year that they were doing 4, 5, and 6, I honestly screamed. I'm so excited about having those remade.
Yeah.
And I just thought they were, and like the remakes I thought were really well redone. There were a few times where they weren't maybe explained as well as they could. Like I think I found out about like a photo mode because I fell and I happened to just like hit forward on my
Yeah,
remote.
It's like you have to press like
And I was like-
R3 and L3 together, don't you? At the
Yeah, it's the two joysticks. And so I was playing on PlayStation, and yeah, you push those two, and like I noticed that 'cause I fell, and I got a bit of like and I was like, oh, photo mode. That's cool.
Are her
But-
deaths still super dramatic?
Other what, sir?
Are her deaths still really dramatic?
I mean, they are when I do them.
Okay.
And now you can take a picture of them.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
now you can do photo
Yeah.
mode.
And
I
you
was
can
gonna say,
change her outfit as well.
She
while she's
clearly
there.
grips the controller when she dies because that's how she found out there was photo mode.
Yeah.
Oh. Did you do the Croft Manor in Power Wash when they released those?
See, I've not done Power Wash, and I should because I
should.
remember I actually
I made
watched
it-
this.
I
I'm so sad.
started cleaning the front of Croft Manor, and it is
It is a big job.
it's a big job.
I-
I loved it because I love Croft Manor. It's one of my favorite like buildings in
Yeah.
video games.
Oh,
I know every
Totally, I
room
love
off by heart. Like
Manor.
when I played it, this was the first time I played it since like 1998, 1999, and I knew everywhere to go. I was like, oh yeah, I know this. I've not played it in 20 years, but I know more than that.
know
But
it.
knew exactly where to go.
One of my favorite Tomb Raider, I think it was Rise of the Tomb Raider DLCs, was Blood Ties, and you had to like go around Croft Manor to find like it was a bit weird. You had to find proof of Lara's mother's death. Did any of you guys play that?
Bit
No,
dark,
I haven't
but
played that
alright.
one.
It was a bit
Yeah.
dark, but it was actually cool because you were going through Croft Manor and you were like finding little like papers from Lara's youth and things. It was very cool.
And
Like, I
not
love
like blood
Croft Manor.
spatters or anything. I was like, wow, that's grim.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was kind of a weird premise, but it was really fun because you had to basically. We're not segueing, but it was a Rise of the Tomb Raider DLC, and you had to basically make sure that her uncle Atlas didn't get hold of Croft Manor, so you had to prove that something had happened to her mum. Story points, but you got to go around Croft
That
Manor.
sounds
It was
good.
very, very fun.
Amazing.
So yeah, so the Tomb Raider remakes, I think would. There's so many honorable mentions though. This
Let's get
year's
some honorable
actually
mentions
been
going then.
Reel them off. Reel them off.
pretty good. Okay, unexpected honorable mention, but I think it deserves one. Little Kitty Big City.
I played it on Apple Arcade and I was like blown away with like, what the hell? This is like a fully Animal Crossing Stardew type game type thing.
It was great, and
Yeah.
again, like it was maybe one that I played more with my kids because it was on Game Pass. And I was like, yeah, okay, sure. Like I quite like Stray, but I didn't let the kids play Stray. But then we played Little Kitty Big City, and we had so much fun, like going around as a cat, knocking things off shelves, and just doing cat things.
Oh, I'm
It
thinking
was
of a different
great.
I was
one.
going to say, I think you're thinking of something different.
I'm thinking of Hello Kitty's Island Adventures. Very different, but
said that
now
Oh, I
I've
didn't-
admitted, now I've admitted that I
say,
love that game.
There was like Stardew Valley, like
No,
oh god,
sorry, I
did
was thinking
miss
of-
part of that
Yeah, I was
game?
like, did the cat stop
To be honest, I
farming?
was just going to go with it because you're the host, and I don't want to be like, what the fuck are you
Because
talking
you're
about?
the host.
That's the Hello Kitty game that's on Apple Arcade that's coming out, I think.
No,
now on
this
It's
console.
a bit weird that actually that you confuse Hello Kitty, who's like known worldwide, with just generic cat from Hello Kitty.
Little
Hang on,
Kitty,
Little
Hello
Kitty
Kitty.
Big City
Little
was
bit
not
up.
generic cat.
It's
Thank you
just,
very
just like
much.
a black cat. I don't know.
The cats
Okay,
wear
well-
hats from what I've seen.
Thank you, Rosie. You're my
From
favorite.
what
on
I've
this
seen,
podcast
literally
now.
all I know about it is that the cats wear hats because I saw everyone on social media being like, "Look at my cat," and then it was just in a city
you
and
get,
wearing
like
a hat.
a frog hat for your cat. Like, but basically, the premise is you're a cat that lives in this apartment building, and you chase a bird, you end up falling out of the window, and you have to get back to your house. It's what I remember the premise, but it was a really cool cat game if you like cat games, and you got to go around the city, you got to meet other
But you're a dog
birds.
person,
You
Victoria.
like, Huh?
You're a dog person.
oh my god, I'm totally a dog person. It's great. Like dogs are top tier.
Well, they
compared to
haven't
cats.
made little doggy big. Soggy,
I think as soon as you
don't
put
know.
doggy,
Oh,
Big soggy. No one wants that.
Make it sound like it's going to go in like a bunch of just wet washing, clothes washing or something.
Oh, I was thinking more
Porn
about
pool
the.
comes back.
I was
yeah.
gonna go Japanese porn pool.
Yeah.
Little doggy, big soggy.
oh, is that a hot dog? Or-
Yeah, the lipstick's
Oh
coming out.
no!
So that's one honourable mention.
Okay,
Because
yep.
Big City for
Little
me.
kitty, yeah.
Second
Dragon's
honourable mention,
Dogma.
Dragon's
we both
Dogma
mentioned that
2.
one. That one was so good, so good. Like I loved the
So good.
first one, and it's just like how chaotic it is. I love it. You're just going on an adventure for hours, and then
Mm.
anything
this
could
is-
happen.
Yeah.
You know,
I've not finished Dragon's Dogma, and I was telling my friend about it. And she said, "Have you just gone on a really intense hike?" And I was like, "Pretty much," because I don't know where I am in the game, physically or emotionally or actually in terms of plot. But I'm having so much fun doing it. Like I've been carried off by a griffin. I've been run down by an ogre. I think a troll beat me
have
at
you
some
had
point.
a troll pick you up and lick you? If you're
Yes.
a female character, it does
Yeah.
that. And I remember the first time it did it to me, I was like, "Oh, Rosie was in it. Were you not, Rosie?"
I am in the game. I
Yeah.
am.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm
Oh
one
my
of the they got some people to be the pawn like the in-game pawns that you can hire, and they asked PlayStation Access to do it, so we got to create our characters, and we had someone from
way.
Capcom come in and they were like, okay, what stats would you like, what outfits would you like, depending on your level and stuff. So yeah,
That's
weirdly
amazing.
I'm in the game, which I'm like
I'm
I
gonna
should
go
have picked
find
you.
Yeah.
I'll save it for
I-
my next playthrough because I
To be
won't.
honest, I don't think I. Are you called Rosie?
yeah, I think I'm literally called
Okay.
Rosie. There's like a menu where you have like a bunch of in-game ones or something, and they've got like multiple different people and stuff. But yeah, I'm one of them. So if you just see a Rosie, then that's me.
That's very cool. I'm
Amazing.
gonna go. I'll restart and
If you
And-
see a
and buy you?
magma, that's the one I made.
I made
Yeah.
Ichiban. I made Ichiban.
I think we sent each other pictures, didn't we, of our
Yeah, we
pawns?
did.
See, I made a hot cat man and called him Kimari.
Oh, nice.
Fair.
I think I made a
yeah.
little evil demon twink. I didn't call him Ed
I-
though.
You called him
I
something
made a-
similar.
Did I?
I think so.
I made a really grumpy old woman.
What did I call him?
Why?
I don't know. It was the mood. I
The
made a
worst
really
part was-
grumpy old woman.
You
From
know
my
when you
pawn.
pick voices, you don't really hear a lot of what they're doing, and like the voice I picked for Majima was like nothing like Majima, and I went to this weird cycle of absolutely detesting it, and then like it weirdly grew on me, and I was like, this is now Majima's voice. This
Did
weird,
it
like,
grow on you or did it wear you down?
I don't know, but you know, he used to catch me in battle, so he won a place in my heart. Like,
Oh, I kind of raced through the game in about a week and finished
wow.
it, and then did the post stuff, which I won't talk about. But during the post stuff, I went to a. Have you done the quest with the bow?
I'm
'Cause it-
I'm so far off piece. Like I
it's
don't
been
know.
so long, you'd
It's-
have to be more
Well, the thing
specific.
is, Rivendell.
What?
I know. At the end, I didn't
Like,
realize there was a
Arwen?
whole like elf
Oh.
village.
Okay, no, so you should know that when I completed the game, and you know, like obviously I won't spoil post, but it kind of gives you the waypoints of all the places in the world.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what's that place?
Exactly.
It was
did
the
sa-
elf place.
I
and I
did
was
the
like,
same thing, and I'd never been there, and I was like,
never
"What?"
been there. And the volcano island, I hadn't been there until the story takes you there. And I was like, oh, I'm missing stuff.
Yeah,
I got to chase the
same.
giant thing. ah."
You could play
Yeah.
that game for like 100, 200 hours, I think, and just
See,
Did-
I feel like I've
Did
really dropped off
anyone
it.
purposefully, you know, infect their pawn and let them kill a whole village? Because I did. Because I wanted to see what it looked
I
like.
never got infected. Never got infected at all.
And
I've
then,
not
got
been
infected.
infected.
I heard
know-
about it though.
Mm.
I heard
It's
it
like-
was a thing.
Yeah, and it's
I wrote
obviously like
about it a lot. Yeah.
you have to like get a wake stone to like raise everyone, and I can tell you that to this day I have not raised everyone in that village again. Some people I just face the facts. So it's like you are staying dead.
I am quite a nice person in real life. I don't give a shit in games. Unless it's a child, it's different. But if the village died, then
Well, I didn't really think it through, and I chose like that. I can't remember what it's called now. I feel like it begins with a H, but it's, you know, the little coastal
Harv?
place.
Half?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot there's actually quests there, so I was like, I've, you know, ruined
Wow.
this for myself because
But I
I
think
need
that's the
that
joy of
quest.
that game, though, is that it's kind of deal with your consequences.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I had a few interesting bugs as well.
Okay.
There was one where it was one where you had to follow the night truck, whatever it's called, like there's the prison van that goes at night and it's all mysterious and you follow it. But the place where I got to, the guards and everything, they didn't respond and it didn't continue the story. So I ended up like killing them and then had to use all my wake stones to get them back. And yeah,
Oh, no.
then it made the game quite difficult because I was a bit underleveled.
How-
And
Annoying was that like follow the beggar quest.
Oh, I just googled.
I spent so long following that beggar, not understanding what I was meant to be doing, and I was like, eventually something will happen, and it doesn't. He just obviously, if you just follow him, it just loops and loops and loops. And you're like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, I just googled that one.
Yeah, but this was pre-launch. You know,
Yeah.
there was nothing to Google. I had to write the guide on that.
See, I could never be a guide writer because
I was like angry by
wander
the
off
time I
so
figured it
much.
out, and I was like,
I probably
"Oh,
use the
just
gamer's
do
guide
this."
actually. I probably use your guide because I often use the gamer, especially for 14.
Wait,
Ben
you're
is
a
always going on
Eurogamer?
about the 14 gamer guides.
It's very good. They're very, very good.
What about Eurogamer guides?
If only they had Final Fantasy 14 guides, I would definitely watch them.
Listen, I've requested it, right?
Does anybody have any other honourable mentions they would like? Rosie, do you have any that you'd like to bring up?
Yes, let me get my list back up.
So I know you've got more as well, Victoria. I'll come back.
I've got loads. I'm
Yeah,
really
no,
sorry.
we'll move it
I'll-
around a bit.
I'll just name them. There was Persona 3 Reload,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
that
Silent
this
Hill
year?
2. Oh, what was that? Sorry.
No, for some reason Persona 3 Reload I thought was last year. I didn't realize it was this year.
No, it
Yeah,
was
it's
like
this year.
February.
January,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Ed
It was-
reviewed it?
Oh no,
no, I
right.
didn't review it.
You just
Oh,
wrote
no,
the
no,
no,
website.
I'm not doubting
Yeah.
you. This has been a year.
Yeah, I know. It's yeah, Silent Hill 2. Pro
Silent Hill
Country.
2 I have not played and I really want to, but it's just with so many games I just haven't got around to it. And we played a bit of the original. You didn't like it.
I played the original when it first came out and really liked it, but it didn't quite hold up as well.
Yeah, I played it for the
But then
first
the
time like a
remake
year
might
ago.
be just the thing for you. Like
Absolutely.
I love the original Silent Hill 2. And weirdly enough, when the remake got announced, because I'm doing a thing at the moment where every Halloween I play a Silent Hill, and I had just literally finished Silent Hill 2, and then the remake was announced, so it was all very fresh in my mind.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was really weird. I was like, oh my god, I literally finished this like 3 days ago, and like playing the remake, I'm like, yeah, this. If you're someone who, let's say, you don't think you can play the original, be it because you just don't have the hardware, or it's not your cup of tea because of the controls at the time or things like that, then the remake definitely keeps the same feeling of the original, but it's, you know, might be more suitable for use for modern controls and more things like that.
It was just all dark. I couldn't really see what was going on and got a bit confused. But I love the atmosphere. I love that it's not all just action. It's just kind of
And it's another
spookiness.
game where you can choose combat and puzzle difficulty separately.
Good, because
Which
I like
I
a bit
really
of
like.
I like a puzzle difficulty at regular, but combat. I'm not good enough.
Same.
Yeah, the older every year gets more and more difficult.
Every year you're just like, I've got other things to play. I don't want to be stuck on this.
My
Come
reactions
on."
times get a lot lower every single time. Well, no, higher the time reaction time.
There was also Crow Country,
Yes,
which
great game.
I loved. Still Wakes the Deep, Tekken 8. Thank goodness you're here, but I heard Victoria you mentioned that before as well.
We also love that game.
It's yeah.
The shadow portions of Sonic X Shadow Generations, like
I was waiting for you
haven't-
to bring that up. I was like, Rosie will bring up Sonic, I'm sure.
Have you
This
seen
got- this
Sonic
got a
3 yet?
No, because it's not out yet. You got to see it early. You got to see it in the big screen, and I want to go see it.
On the IMAX with about
With a lot
200
of screaming
children.
children.
Yeah.
What?
Really?
Really? Why?
It was the
It's they often do this for film screenings, is that they have like the premiere, which is for like the actual actors and people in it, and then they'll have some sort of media screening, but it's usually a family screening where for some reason they allow families in. And I don't know if their families are people who were in it or whatever, but they'll have like a family screening, and that's the one they usually invite media to. So it's like 10 in the morning. On
And
a
he's there with his
Saturday.
notebook and there's
And I-
kids screaming, throwing popcorn. He's like,
Oh
excuse me, I'm writing my
God,
notebook.
No.
that.
Mm.
Did it kind of add to the atmosphere though? Did it make you happy to see?
Yeah.
We were both
families
very
be
tired.
Yeah, was it from the Game Awards? Like,
It was 2 days after the Game Awards.
yeah, and I think the night, yeah, we were very, very, very tired. But there was,
Yeah.
it was amazing. It was really, really cool. And I won't spoil anything, but there were a couple of things like, obviously, you know, post credits and stuff that everyone was just screaming and
I mean, that's leaked anyway now, right?
don't read
The,
it. No.
Well, yes. Well, has it? Is it even the real thing, or is it just something someone's made up? Who knows? Yeah.
I haven't
spoil
seen
anything.
anything,
Don't-
so
Don't
Don't
avoid
spoil
it just
you.
in
No,
case.
no, no.
Yeah.
Just stay till the very, very end.
Yeah, there are.
oh,
What
I
I'll
was
say,
going to
there are
anyway.
2 post-credit sequences, so stay until the end. I'll
And
say
then
that
the
much.
end.
The very
Yeah,
end,
yeah.
end, yeah.
And.
The end. In fact, actually, the end, because there are 3.
Are there?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah, the very, very end one.
Well, that's only 2
Oh.
that I was talking about.
They're the 2 like reveals, and then there's 1 extra.
Oh, okay, fine.
It's right at the end.
Yeah.
Just wait till the
okay,
very, very end. Wait till the lights come
I'll
up.
watch it with my boyfriend, and I'll be like, no, there's an end. Trust me.
Yeah.
Like when there's just everyone's left, and there's just a plain.
When you watch it, Rosie, please tell Victoria and I whether there were really 3 or 2 posts.
If there was an end and then an end,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
an end,
Definitely
end.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Please
there
do.
was,
I look forward to hearing your thoughts.
Yeah,
and
we
also,
wanna
just
know.
there are so many references, like
What
like-
the Shadow the Hedgehog, or in the film?
in the film.
Well,
like,
already went from the first trailer. Like I thought I was going crazy when Shadow starts kicking people in the head, and I was like, "That's in Shadow the Hedgehog. That's the exact same thing in I Am All of Me in the intro sequence." And I was like, "Oh no, maybe I'm just overthinking it." And then someone else on Twitter at the time said it, and I was like, "I was right. I should have trusted my instincts." And then that's when we got like, loads of likes, and I was like, "Oh, knew it."
Yeah, and you showed me a clip from Sonic Adventure 2, was it? Earlier today, or Sonic Adventure,
Yes.
and you were like, "Look, this is exact the same scene and quote from the film." I'm like, "Yes, it is. It's really, really good."
Oh, because my boyfriend, he loves Sonic Adventure 2 especially, but he likes the Sonic Adventure. And then I was always like, and then I grew up with like the Sonic Heroes to like Shadow the Hedgehog generation. So I feel like we're both gonna get the
You'll
the
love it.
bundle of
Yeah.
joy from it.
You will both love that. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Right,
excited.
just say
very
no more.
excited.
I love also the references to like other film franchises and stuff. Like it's in the trailer, I guess, so it's not a spoiler. But when the person comes up to the to what
The little kid comes up to Tails.
it was like, "Are
So-
you Detective Pikachu?"
Yeah.
It's like-
I did notice they did advertising where they did advertising as though it was Sonic, but in different film. So did they not do like a
Yeah.
Die Hard one where he's falling off the
There's a
Nakatomi
Love
Plaza?
Actually one.
And there's a Love Act- and there's
Yeah.
what the
Home
Four
Alone
Christmases or
one.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love
Was
that they
there,
did that.
but was there a Hot Frosty one?
Chiseled
imagine?
knuckles.
No, oh, is Cream the rabbit in it yet?
No.
Oh, I want Cream's abs.
No one knows.
That sounds wrong, doesn't it?
Anyway, Sonic X Shadow Generations is great, and the Shadow bit is amazing. Yes, I
Yeah,
agree with you,
the
Rosie.
Shadow-
Well
I
said.
haven't even played the Sonic part of it. I've literally
Don't.
just played the Shadow part of it,
No,
and then I
do,
had to
but
hop
don't.
in to something else. But I was just like, the Shadow levels, fantastic.
Which is your favourite one?
And then they brought, I believe it was this year, but it was Beautiful Katamari Royal Reverie. That was this year.
No, I think that was last year, wasn't it?
Was it this
I've
year or
heard of-
last year?
I've not heard of that. What's that?
I'm pretty sure it was last year, but I also
Google.
have a terrible memory. But you should know that whilst like digging out
No.
Christmas presents from where I hide them, I was like, oh yeah, this, and it was a copy of Katamari game, and I was like, this is from Game, and my local game still closed last year, so
It was last May, I'm afraid, 2023.
there we go.
I think I played it at Christmas last year. So when I was looking through my
Yeah.
history of games, I was like, oh, that explains. Ignore that
But
then.
Fair
cut that
shout out
out.
because it's a good game.
It is a good game. But Tumby Enhanced, because I love Tumby on
Oh
PS1.
yeah.
Very
Oh,
happy
yeah.
that came back. And then
Mm.
Shadow of the Tree in Elden Ring.
Thank you.
I was saving that one
Ed
for
was
last.
just waiting for someone to
Yeah,
mention
literally,
it.
I literally I finished it over the
Oh.
weekend. Just
I don't
gone,
think
and
it's a
was-
game though.
Well, this is going
Is
to
it
be
a
our
game? I was
argument
gonna
on
say,
our
are we,
Game of the Year
are we
Are we
thing.
going
Thing.
BAFTA or are we going Game Awards with this?
No,
But
All,
no,
That
all
was
I'll say is
fantastic.
that Shadow of the Tree is my favourite thing that I've played this year.
Mhm.
And I don't care if it's a game or an expansion or whatever. It's just that is the thing that I've had the most fun with.
I just loved it. Like, you
Yeah.
know, I just thought it was absolutely phenomenal. It was more Elden Ring, and that's fantastic. And like the whole world was just gorgeous and stunning, and the fights were varied, and it was tough and challenging. Like I just loved it.
Yeah.
I
So-
one thing I will say, like I mean, I don't know where I land on is it a game or is it a DLC kind of thing. But the fact that it added so much content, and like I remember seeing those furnace golems for the first golems,
Mm.
they're called, for the first
Mm.
time, and being like I've not played it, but even seeing those, I was like, holy
you
shit.
can't am I right in thinking you can't play it until you've got so far through the main game?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to go through an egg or something, don't you?
Right, so I kind of think if you have to play the main game to play that, then it's DLC and not really standalone. Whereas, like,
depends what awards give it to what. Like, I mean, I think it's like Dawn Trail. Like that's you have to play through about 7,000 hours.
Yeah, you have to play through even more to get to that.
this is a new arc.
Tell you what, though, visually from what I saw in the trailers, it looked phenomenal. Like
What, Shadow of the Erd Tree?
Shadow of the
Dawn
Erd
Trail.
Tree.
Yeah, it is.
Dawn Trail's very pretty as well.
We had Dawn Trail.
Nice looking
Graphical update.
fruit.
Did it?
I remember the picture of the kind of like slightly
The
elfin looking
Squapes,
guy
the
with a
Squapes, that
pineapple
one.
or something.
Oh right, yeah, okay, yeah.
But so both look great.
No, Erdtree is literally like a Renaissance painting come to life. It's
Yeah.
just, it's, oh,
Yeah.
I
The
just
amount of
love
times you
that
like
game.
walk into an area and then like that first shot you've got, you fully just have to do the cinematic slow pan.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
even if you don't do like video game or if you like, you know, capture gameplay for videos or anything like that, if you're just playing it without even thinking, you're just like, here's my cinematic shot. And I fully do it so that, you know, I put my massive sword away. So it's just, you know, my character stood there and I'm like, yeah, look
Have
at
you
me in
ever
this
done
world.
that in a game preview where like you're on that annoying parsec or whatever? You forget someone's watching you essentially, and you've stopped to like just you're at like the edge of the level, screening around to be like, ooh. And then I've done that before, and then like for apparently for so long the person's been like, are you okay?
Nope, that's never happened to me.
So wait, you're getting the pan shot and someone's just asking
Yeah,
if you're
you know
okay.
when you go out into an area and like there's things in the distance and you're trying to like take everything in and you just want to stop until you're like panning around and you're like really trying to spot things. And,
Yeah.
I did it for too long once. Someone asked me if I was like okay.
Was it someone you were playing online with or someone that like
No, if I
staff at an
remember
event?
rightly, it was Stranger of Paradise. So and it was done on Parsec because it was like, you know, still kind of COVID-y time. So you play it through your PC, but there's like a Square Enix person like monitoring you in case you get stuck, I guess. And I forgot they were there because it's not like they're on the screen with you until the voice was in my ear and they jump scared me and then I like was embarrassed and stopped looking around.
Oh,
Yeah.
at least it wasn't in like a game of Call of Duty or something. It's like
Yeah,
your
no,
teammates
that's
like,
true,
are you
yeah.
okay? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I remember surviving really quite a long time in Halo Infinite's multiplayer. And it's because I was just completely like everyone like the battle was over there and I was like, oh look at the trees.
Yeah.
Like, in the background.
It's
like,
too easy to get distracted by stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I
so
like
I
that
think
bit
like
with-
I weirdly came like third in that match. Not because I did anything, but just because no one else could find me.
I've done it in Final Fantasy 14 before, where I've like removed the UI so I can take some nice screenshots, like mid dungeon and mid battle, and then I'm like, oh, now I'm dead.
Yeah.
You even have that in like Elden Ring. Like the amount of times I looked at an area, I even had it the other day when I was looking at it and I was like, wow, that's beautiful. And I heard like a tingle happening to my left. And I was like, oh, maybe it's just atmospheric tingle. No, I got slapped by like a really strong enemy who just walked over whilst I was staring at something. I was like, yeah, that's on me.
Yeah.
Just went boom.
I remember I was playing Concord RIP when that came out, and I was playing it just after it had been announced it was closing down. So I made a good job of like walking around all the levels, making sure I was looking at it, you know, for the last time.
Oh,
Taking it all,
final walk.
taking it all in, just having a look. I enjoyed it. It was a fun game to play.
Meg, did you
Elden
have
Ring
any
did.
other honorable mentions?
I've got a couple.
Go for it.
Just we've mentioned a few of the other things that are on my list, but Kinitsugami, I flipping
Oh.
loved.
The
Like if-
goddess, what's she called?
Path of the Goddess.
Path of the goddess, thank you.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people haven't played it because it's hard to pin down what it is, because it's like strategy, like adventure-y, like action-y, dancey.
Yeah, I see
Yeah.
that. I see
Yeah.
that.
But I just it was like so good. Like I became obsessed with it. I was I suck at strategy games. I play it my way, which is button mashing. That does not always pan out. Sometimes you have to do other stuff, but everything about it is like there's so much, like they've put so much history into it. Like every little thing, you know, there'll be like these cakes you can get, and they're like based on this like ancient Japanese tea ceremony or something. And it's like if you start looking it all up, it's incredible how much detail they put into it. Even like the So in the bottom corner, it says what time of day it is, but whether it's like night or whatever. And there's like a watery effect on it, and it's because like in the oldie Japanese days, they use like water bowls as like clocks and things like that. You know, play it. And
There's a lot of
the other
detail in
one I
that.
want to mention is which Victoria will like if she hasn't played it already. Phoenix Springs, which is a
Oh.
point and click game that just looks phenomenally gorgeous, so good. And it does this really cool thing where, like, instead of picking up items like you would do in a classic point and click game, and you're like combining them, it's thoughts in your head, and you're combining thoughts to open up new ideas as you're like thinking on them. So you know you'll learn one thing and then go learn something else, and then you open up this
I've
thing
heard
of words.
this.
It's
I
so
have not.
good.
That
That
sounds
sounds
clever.
It's so
amazing.
good. Yeah, and it's like neo noir, sort of so stylish. You have to play it.
wow.
Ooh. Remind me
I
of-
had not heard of this. It sounds right up my
Yeah.
street.
that looks stunning. Reminded me when you were talking about like point and click and it's kind of slow. Closer the Distance. Have you
Oh
played that?
yeah.
That was a sad game. That was not a. I streamed that and regretted it because it's a very
Oh,
very
oh no.
sad, slow kind of.
I hate I hate when you go into something thinking it's going to be one thing and then it's actually like depressing.
Yeah.
Like just going back to Christmas films, the year my sister was like, "Oh, you should watch Last Christmas. It's a great Christmas
I loved
film."
that. I loved it.
It's a good film, but I wanted something jolly, like hot frosty.
Oh yeah, it's not that.
And then I ended up like, "Oh my god, this is like sad."
My boyfriend did that with Bloomin' Perfect Blue. Have any of you seen that?
No.
No, what's that
No.
about?
It's like it's a anime, and it's so he was like, oh no, like it's a phenomenal film, really really good. But he was like, oh no, it's like a really good film, like it's about a pop idol, and there's a bit of like a thrill to it and stuff. But it actually gets really dark, and literally
Oh.
watching it, I was like, okay, yeah, let's try this out. I'll watch this. I'm feeling good about watching this. And afterwards, I was like looking over my shoulder for like 2 days. And I was literally just like, you told me it was a different experience. I didn't think it was going to have that impact on you.
Told me it was a different experience. I'm borrowing that.
What was it? It was like when I forced you to watch Don't Fuck with Cats.
Oh god.
Oh.
Wait,
And you couldn't you couldn't sleep, could
Oh
you?
god. That
don't,
fucked me up.
did you say don't fuck with cats?
Yeah,
it's
it's on Netflix.
It's a documentary and you think it's about one thing and then it just goes places.
Oh man.
Oh,
It is
no.
terrifying.
I'm morbidly curious now.
Oh,
you
yeah.
should watch it, but not with your kids.
I mean,
No, says
I have a book called The Magic Art of Not Giving a Fuck, but the front cover is The Magic Art of Not Giving a F ** K. And my son was like, what's this? I was like, The Magic Art of Not Giving a Fork.
Yeah.
Good one.
Just eating without
You got
forks.
him.
Yeah.
Ah,
Right.
brilliant. Okay, well,
Right.
Did I
is-
mention Tekken 8 for an honourable mention? I can't remember if I said Tekken
You
8 or
did.
not.
You did.
but I
Okay.
mean, especially
Good, I
with
covered
Clive in
Tekken
it
8.
now.
Mm.
Do you know what I think is amazing is this year, the amount of people are like, oh, there's no big games coming out this year.
Oh.
We've been speaking for like in excess of 2
Yeah.
hours about brilliant games. Like this
Yeah.
has been a really good year, I think.
We
Mhm.
struggled to pick
Well, say I still have things that we've not spoken about. Like it's been a really good year.
Give us
I
a quick
think.
flash of what you've got left.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Give us a-
Quick fire,
Yeah,
quick
quick fire. Not
Oh, quick
flash.
fire.
Give
So I
us a
still
quick
have Hades
flash.
2. I appreciate that's early access. I still have Never, which is what I previewed in Spain with Meg, which I just think is really beautiful.
And for the
Uh,
record, I didn't knock anything over there.
Can confirm, Meg was on her best behavior in Spain. That was the first time I met her, so maybe she was just, being like nice
That's
to me.
why.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah, that's why.
Victoria's here. I must perform. I've also got weirdly Princess Peach, just because it was really cool to see Peach in the front seat, and also then Zelda for seeing Zelda in front,
Mhm.
Echoes of Wisdom.
Mm.
Really
You know,
appreciate
I
seeing
forgot
two
Peach was
princesses.
this year.
Yeah, really cool to see
God.
Nintendo bringing their sort of females to the fore. I love that this year. And whilst the games themselves maybe weren't the greatest games, I love the fact that they were still Zelda and Peach's game.
Mm. That's
Um,
amazing.
and then I have a few other like Randall indies, Locomotive, which I'm playing at the moment,
I
which
hear
is
that's
another
really
project.
good. Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
haven't played it, but I hear it's really good.
So yeah, so for anyone who's not aware, that's like a kind of point and click murder mystery esque
Mm.
pixel art game. So yeah, a really good year I think for games.
Definitely.
Actually, speaking of point and clicks again, what's its face got a second one, didn't it? The Curious Case of the
Golden Idol.
Golden Idol.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got there in
yeah.
the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to play that because I've
turning
heard
this into-
really good things.
Turn it into a point and click podcast. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, one of my
was gonna say-
favorite games. In fact, I think my favorite game of all time. It's not quite point and click, but it's that genre is Grim Fandango.
Oh
Which is
yeah.
just-
Oh,
That's the
I
only.
love Grim
That's the only
Fandango.
PC game I have in the original like big box.
Yes,
Uh,
I still
Oh.
have the big box one of that as well. Yeah.
Grim
the
Fandango is
music,
phenomenal. Oh, the
really.
music's so
Fandango's
good. The
You
amount
used-
of listen to it.
You used to be able to download it from the website. They literally just put the website up and was like, "Hey, you can download the MP3s of this," which I did. So
Nice.
good.
We also had as well, I guess it's kind of like, at least I kind of class it as point and click-ish, but I haven't played this one to be fair. The Miles Edgeworth collection from Capcom, that was this year, wasn't it?
That was this.
Yes.
And I haven't played
Yes.
that yet because I'm still doing the great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which I'm hoping to finish over Christmas. But like when that came out, I was like, oh my god, I cannot wait to finally play these Miles Edgeworth games. So I'm very excited to try that one.
There's so much I need to play from this year that I haven't played. And
That's what
now
Christmas
Indiana
is for.
Jones has been added to the
Yeah.
list.
And then everything's coming out quite early, like March, April, isn't it? Like most games. Well, that was the final thing I was going to ask you. I'm going to put you on the spot, and because I know you haven't prepared this, but one game that you're really looking forward to next year, Meg. I mean, I'll ask you first because it's the easiest one, I guess.
Yeah, Pirate Yakuza, obviously.
Rosie, are you the same, or are you?
Yeah, for now I'm the same. And then I'm also just trying to think what's been confirmed for 2025. And I was just like, mainly my brain is just like,
Oh,
Pirate.
actually, let me say another one as well, just because that one's a gimme. But there's a little indie game which I've already like banged on about Ben and Ed at Gamescom, but it's called Vice Undercover, and it's like it's set in the 80s, but the internet already exists, and you're like an
Ooh.
undercover police agent who's taking on the role of this hacker that works for the cartel. And so it's so good. There's like a little 80s-esque like OS, and you're like hacking and like finding information and like comparing people through their like CCTV images to like this database you have, and I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed. There's a demo on Steam. Go play it. Go play
I
it.
clicked on Google Images, and the fifth image is the gamer.
There you
I
go.
thought- I thought of another one alongside. It's Mouse PI for Hire.
That looks
Mm.
really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not Mickey
like
Mouse.
Will it come out? Will Disney get there though?
well, it's at the moment it's
Don't jinx it.
as of this podcast, it says 2025. So that I'm sticking to those hopes. But yeah, that looks very, very good. I've been very interested in that since it was first announced. I'm like, yeah, can't wait to play that on my PlayStation. Yeah.
Has anyone here played Squirrel with a Gun?
Yes.
No, but
I was,
I've heard
I was
about it.
really bad at it as well. And
Oh.
I played it at Gamescom, so I was like failing in front of people, and I was like, I'm so sorry.
The worst place to fail.
Yeah, it really is.
Oh, are you-
Victoria, what are you looking forward to next year?
Bizarrely, even though I've not played a Like a Dragon game, I'm really looking forward to Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
Oh,
because Pirates.
Yay!
So that is actually genuinely one of my top games. But then I have two others, which so Pirate Yakuza because Pirates Hawaii, which is basically like Victoria Phillips Kennedy in a bottle. Then the other one is Foolish Mortals, which is a point and click adventure, which has kind of been inspired by Broken Sword and Monkey Island.
Ooh.
It was meant to come out this year, but it's now been delayed till next year.
What was that called again? Sorry.
Foolish Mortals.
Foolish Mortal. Okay.
So it's
Ben's
a point and click
frantically Googling.
adventure.
Sounds great.
Its art style is very Broken Sword, and it's basically you kind of take on the role of this buffoon, like bumbling buffoon, but very lovable character, and he's trying to solve this mystery of some ghosts.
Oh, there's a
in-
demo.
There is a demo. I played the demo. There's some voodoo in there, which is very Monkey Island, but then it's also got like
Writing
a
this
steamboat.
Yeah, it looks
Looking forward to
beautiful as
that.
well. All hand drawn, seems.
It looks really, really good. And then also, again, this is me mostly basing off the art style, but I'm really looking forward to South of Midnight.
Oh
which
yeah, that one does
Is
look good.
Compulsion Games is all set in the South, like Southern America, Louisiana style, kind of witchcraft. Oh my god, I just saw
Oh,
another
that
one.
one. Yes.
Sleight of hand as well. So yeah, sleight of hand. So hang on, what have we got? Pirate Yakuza,
Yeah,
sleight
one
of
game you're looking
hand,
forward.
Foolish Mortals, and South of Midnight.
Wait, I
Those
want to
are
add
my
one.
four.
especially for Victoria, another point and click.
Oh.
Rue Valley. Have you seen that one?
No.
Oh, look it up. The art style's inspired by Into the Spider-Verse and stuff. So it just so
Oh, you just
slick,
perked
it
up
looks
Ben's
lush.
interest.
Yeah,
And it's like a point and click narrative adventure, and it's based on a time loop. You're in like this therapy thing, and it's like an hour. And I think there's a demo available for this, so you can check this out as well. But
Sadly
like,
not.
obviously, you have to try. Is there not?
No,
Oh,
you
there
can
wa-
request access to the playtest, so maybe that is.
Oh.
I did play it, and it was really good. But like the demo kind of cut off before it, you really had freedom. But there's a bit where like lightning strikes, and if you remember that, then later on, because all the hotel doors are like electronic, you could obviously use that to get in and things like that, and eventually it expands out, and even though it's the same amount of time, like as you learn more, like obviously it will change. That looks like it's going to be great as well.
I'm gonna be
Add these all to your wish lists.
Yeah.
I was going to say Ben is googling these on Steam now.
Yeah, I am, and I'm gonna be basic and say mine. I think mine at the moment. I'm sure there are others, but is like I'm really looking forward to Monster Hunter.
I mean, that's
Oh,
mine as
yeah.
well.
That's another reason why I got a pro. Oh wait, no, sorry, I can't believe I forgot. I mean, there's one that's the most
Oh, for
obvious.
God's sakes.
Death Stranding 2.
Oh, on the beach.
I
was gonna
will be
say-
Oh.
booking 2 weeks off work when that game comes out and be just getting lost
On
in
the
it.
Princess Beach.
On the
I remember talking to Ed about this, and there was the trailer that was revealed. I think it must have been at like a PlayStation thing in February, and it was very like The Crow. There was like
Yeah,
the guy.
I mean,
with
he
the
had
sort of,
like a guitar
makeup,
thing,
like kiss
And I was like,
guitar.
to be fair, this looks cool.
Yeah, you were even complimentary. There.
Even I was complimenting it.
Oh, I
Um,
love Death Stranding. It's one of my favorite games. I got the platinum in the 100 hours, whatever it was to do. Oh,
Then I
Another
will
way-
steal Monster Hunter as mine then. Although I have 2 other quick ones, which are Switch 2 launch title, clearly Metroid Prime 4, which I'm
Oh,
very
yeah,
excited about.
Shit, I forgot about that.
And I'm also really excited about the Metal Gear Solid remake, Delta.
Yes, I had forgotten about both of those.
You see
Yeah, no,
Kojima retweeted.
Very excited for Delta.
Do you see Kojima posted a picture of Metal Gear Solid 3 like yesterday on Instagram?
Yes.
And everyone's like, is this you
Ooh.
putting your weight behind it? Are you saying that are you back with Konami? And all these millions of questions. That...
Oh, they haven't even said a Hideo Kojima game in it.
No, he just
Like,
posted an old
they took it
picture.
out.
Is he? Was there not something recently about the fact that he's not going to be in the credits for Delta or something?
Yeah,
Or have I made that
he's
up?
not in the credits because the opening of the game is all very cinematic and it comes up and says a Hideo Kojima game in the original. And it's the exact same sequence, but they've taken out that line because this isn't a
Ooh.
Kojima game. But I think the credits will still have the original credits of the original game. So I'm sure he'll be in there. It's just not listed as a Hideo Kojima game.
Which is the one with the really good song that you sang to me one meeting?
That one.
Yeah,
Is that Delta?
is that the same one?
Yeah.
Do you think they'll remix it for this remake? Like, who would you want to sing it?
No, it must be the same. They
Shirley
must
Bassey.
have changed that.
I don't know why when you said remix, I just imagined like a dubstep behind it, like.
I bet someone's done that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Well, we were watching a trance version of Susan Boyle's Wild Horses, so if they can do that, they can do.
For the record,
Dude, out us like this, Ben.
I thought you said tramped version, and then I realised you said trance. So...
Yeah. But with a CE.
Trance version of Susan Boyle is not on my bingo card today.
I'll send you the video. It's amazing.
That is a good tune.
Yeah.
What I think from this podcast is everyone's going to go and watch Hot Frosty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's
We've already done it.
I won't be watching that again.
you can grate cheese on those abs, I tell you.
Have you watched the other one? Because they released 2, didn't they? Released a
There's
new
like the
Lindsay
stripper
Lohan
one,
Michael
right?
Murray one.
Yeah.
The one with
Was
the
it
guy
like
from
this-
Montreal Hill.
Yeah.
No, wait, is it that one? I just remember Lindsay Lohan was in it.
Mm.
Oh,
There's a
wasn't that
new
last year's?
Lindsay Lohan. No, a new Lindsay. I think not that stupid Wish one.
Mm. There's one on
Um,
Prime.
Lindsay
Can we
Lohan's
also
right.
just quickly discuss the Lindsay Lohan bit in Hot Frosty? And she goes, "Oh, I think that's the girl I went to school with."
I was going to mention it because I want Rosie to see it, but I do like that little
Yeah.
nod. Yeah, Rosie, go watch it.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
That's going to be my Christmas mission. My film Christmas mission.
Hot Frosty. Oh,
Hot Frosty.
I wouldn't
Watch
recommend it to
the
anybody, but
Netflix films.
We'll
and-
reconvene
and,
next
yeah.
week to discuss Hot Frosty, right, guys?
definitely.
We'll start
do
a
it.
separate group chat
Oop.
just called Hot
Hot
Frosty.
Frosty. Yeah.
Hot Frosty, and then we all share our opinions.
Perfect.
I mean, I have opinions. I would have stuff to say.
Just to clarify, now I'm worried I've watched an old Christmas film and I thought it was new. This Lindsay Lohan one is like her and her boyfriend go to like his family for Christmas, but oh no, like her boyfriend's sister is dating her ex, who like they almost got married, and then it's like I feel like it's new.
I think that is new.
Yeah,
entirely generic, ends exactly how you think it's going to end. But if you like watching crap like Hot Frosty, give it a watch.
Oh,
I mean,
this podcast
Pop
sponsored
on in the
by.
background. Yeah.
Sponsored by Netflix.
Yeah, I'm just like Hot Frosty. The only thing I'm waiting for now is the Trixie and Katya to watch Hot Frosty and give us their.
Yeah.
Do they still do things?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Whenever you do put our names on this podcast, can you put Meg Netflix Pelluccio?
I'll watch anything on Netflix. I put it on in the background when I'm like working, and because I can't put on anything too interesting or good, because then I would stop working.
Well, Hot Frosty's perfect then.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I watch all the crap.
But you're incredibly productive during Hot Frosty.
I was watching NCIS recently when working, and I looked up. It was one of my friends. I kid you not, one of my friends from school was on the show, and I was like, Lily?
Wow. That's
She was in
distracting.
there, and I was like, that's so
Well,
random.
we
Like,
claim to
clearly,
fame.
they were like season 20.
Did
I was
you
like,
message
yeah.
her like, is Mark Harmon really horrible? Like,
She was only with Sean Murray. She was with his character.
Oh.
So I did message her and be like, what's that you said? Yeah, that was totally me. I was like, what the fuck were you doing in NCIS? So random.
Well, thank you. I've got to say thank you so much for joining and taking like well over 2 hours out, two and a
part of me
half
feels
hours.
like you guys are regretting it. Like,
No, in the absolute
Not in the
opposite.
slightest.
I'm hoping that you're not regretting it because we've taken like 3 hours of your time to record this. So thank you
True,
so
that's my
much
It's
for
been a
joining.
blast. It's just felt as if chatting
Yeah.
to a bunch of
Yeah.
mates about great video games, and
And
that's great.
I've got to say, we do the
Exactly, yeah.
podcast every week and we just us chatting, but I'm like, we need to just bring in more people because as much fun as we have talking to each other, it's
We
much
do that all the time.
Yeah, exactly. We do that on the sofa and we don't record
we're
that.
we're
So.
always up for another podcast, a little
Love
Netflix
it.
special.
Yeah.
Hey,
Again,
Point and
Meg,
click
Netflix
special. We definitely
Pelluccio.
need a point and click special, don't we?
I
Point and click
literally haven't
special,
played
yes.
any of these point
If you
and click
guys do another
games.
RPG special, I'm really sorry, but I'm washing my hair. Just
We'll get you into them one day. Maybe not.
I played some Final Fantasy.
Yeah. We'll get
We should do a Pirate Yakuza one though.
I mean,
Oh,
I need to.
Ben,
Ben,
I'll
Ned, you
dedicate
don't
to
have to
that.
be there.
I'll have to catch up. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
same.
will
We
catch
both
up.
need
No,
to.
I'm definitely going to be playing it, but it'll be after Infinite Wealth, which will be after Like a Dragon,
which will be in about 10 years' time.
because I want to play Metaphor first as well. So
It'll
yeah.
be when
yes.
they're doing the next protagonist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh, so Meg, where can we find you? Where can people find you if they want to see your
on social media, not like in real life.
Yeah, where can
Where can people find you
don't
outside your
go
door?
through
Security number.
I'll catch this
They-
bus
they-
over it.
The Hot Frosty fans are going to try and find me and be like, it's not crap.
There is a big thing. I googled it, and there is like so Hallmark Movies has a subreddit, and Hot Frosty's discussed in there, and they think it's like the best film ever. I did Google it
Yeah,
because
but
I was
have
like,
you
is it
seen
really this
other
bad?
Hallmark films? That's a low bar.
Yeah, I
Like,
think that's why they love it. It's mainstream Hallmark movie.
Oh, God.
There's a Hallmark channel that my sister used to put on at Christmas, and it was just the worst. Like it was just beyond. Like it was so bad it would distract me. Like I can't. Like it's distracting me with like car crash horror of how bad it is.
There's a Hallmark regular that looks really like my husband, and every time I see him pop up, I'm like, you bastard.
You are not
Oh,
my husband.
I would like to believe it is your husband. That's like his secret
That's
life.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
whenever he's
Hallmark
like
star.
training with the army, he's actually like, filming Hallmark films.
Secret actor, yeah.
Quite a thing to moonlight as.
But in answer to your question, yeah, people can find me on social media, Twitter and Blue Sky, generally tweeting about Yakuza stuff or Majima. Generally, like I've just bought more crap about Yakuza and Majima.
Perfect.
What's your
Or you
handle?
can read my stuff on the Gamer. It's my handle's just Meg Pelliccio. And then you can find me on the Gamer as well. Normally posting about Yakuza and Final Fantasy 14
And the other
and-
thing I found
and anything else I
Yeah.
like.
brilliant.
I liked a picture of you recently that you shared of socks.
What? I think this is saying more about you than it is about me. I like your foot picture.
3
Oh,
feet
God.
on May.
Am I that person?
I don't even know what picture this is. Like,
I mean, I say recently, it's probably like 4 months ago.
Now she's looking
Um,
for specifically for
oh,
this picture from 4 months ago.
was it
I like
was it like blue slipper socks?
Yeah.
Right, Insert Coin sent me them.
Oh,
they
and then
were
the
very
Overwatch
cozy.
ones.
In fact, I am literally wearing them right now. I'm not going
She
to get
hasn't
my
washed
feet
them
up,
since.
so
That's
that's
weird.
weird.
Show the podcast.
No, but they are super comfy. They're like, like fake fur lined inside.
Yeah,
Oh,
and they're
wow.
the Overwatch ones.
Fleecy. Yeah, yes,
Oh,
yes.
Literally, they've been my lifesaver in bed when my feet have got really cold, and then
Right,
I
yeah.
just pop them on, and I'm like, oh my god, perfect! I love them.
I don't even
See-
play Overwatch. Fake fan
Yeah.
wearing Overwatch.
I don't play it
socks.
either, but those socks are amazing.
We will have a sock special as well
hang
next
on.
year.
I have actually played that game, and I don't have the fucking socks.
You
What
should get
the
the
hell?
socks.
We need to get in
Wow.
with Insert Coin tees.
I do.
Hmm
Yeah.
Rosie, where can people find you as well? And your socks.
So in terms of social
Watching
media,
Hot Frosty.
well, yeah, watching Hot Frosty.
At Hot
Um,
Frossy's biggest fan.
You can find me on X and Blue Sky, Instagram. I believe my tag is Rosie Caddick or Rosie_Caddick across all of them. Those are my main social medias, I believe.
I love how you call it X. I'm too old.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I still call it
Uh,
Twitter.
I'm just protesting by calling it Twitter.
Yeah, earlier I was like, what used to be Twitter, but I'm still just like, no, in my head it's just Twitter.
Yeah.
Like it's,
Mm.
it's yeah. But in terms of like, if you want to see my work and my content, I am on the YouTube channel PlayStation Access. I am on the Twitch streaming channel Buddy Games, and I am on. Well, I've got my very old YouTube work, Professor Juice. If you want to see my work from years ago, but I still hold it very near and dear to my heart.
Wait,
and
so was your handle Professor Juice?
yeah, on YouTube.
I want to know what the story behind that
So
was.
why?
Yeah,
That's what Hot Frosty's called now.
we need to know.
So it was from, you know, Sly Cooper.
Yeah.
There's a character in Sly Cooper 2 called Dimitri, and Dimitri's got a song in his like club, and in the third game they made a remix of it, and he says the line "Juice, who's got the juice?" And as a kid, I thought this was the coolest thing. And so when I was at school, I tried to make like "You've got the juice" become a thing at school. And they were like, "It's not becoming a thing. Stop making it try to become a thing."
Yeah,
And I
make
was
it
like,
kind of make sense
Yeah.
happen. Yeah.
but I just loved using. I just thought like juice was such like a cool, fun term. And then I love the color orange, so that's where it comes from.
And
See,
after
it came
message
from
you being like, "Who's got the juice?"
yeah, and
Yeah.
literally when I'm on like on PlayStation Access or on Buddy Games, when someone says you've got the juice, I'm like, you've got the juice. Like I love it so much, but I am really, really hoping to bring the show back one day.
I need to
Bring
listen
back
to
the
I need
juice.
to listen to this song now. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely going to be another
Yeah.
thing I look for afterwards.
Yeah,
Can
it's
you
like
like edit it in over the top? Like,
Yeah, just that could be our backing track.
Yeah, the entire just on repeat. The
yeah,
entire
you're just gonna
podcast.
hear this like club music, just being like boom, 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 just with Dimitri just speaking to you in the background. Oh, it's great. I love Sly Cooper.
Never played it. I need to.
Oh, I love Sly
They
Cooper.
need to remake them.
Oh, I love the Sly Cooper trilogy. I'm a Sly Cooper. Well, just the Sly Cooper games in general, because there's a fourth one as well. I'm a Sly Cooper fiend. I love them.
It's like Cooper Trooper. There you go.
It's like
Yeah, there you go. Quadruple.
Victoria, where can we find you? I'm guessing you're a
You
gamer,
don't-
but also
You can find me at Eurogamer alongside the wonderful Miss Ed Nightingale. So yes, on Eurogamer, I actually don't really use social media that much, but if you want to, I am either Lil Chop Shop Gal or Little Chop Shop Gal. But if you go onto my Eurogamer profile, all the links are already there for you.
oh
amazing.
yeah, I should have just said that. That's the easiest thing to do, isn't it? Just go to our byline and click the things.
Yeah, give us some
Yeah.
page
Somewhere else
views.
could
We
you
need
you'll
them.
find
You'll get like
me.
auto linked, you'll find me. But yeah, I'm Lil Chop Shop Gal or Little Chop Shop Gal.
Well,
Ben,
thank.
where can people find you?
You can find me. I've deleted Twitter. Well, I haven't deleted the account, but I've deleted the everywhere I can go
yeah.
and find it. So I just use Blue Sky these days. So that's Biggest Bennis. That's another reason, because I don't have Biggest Bennis on Twitter. So I'm like, great, I can start with my actual username. My Biggest Bennis 1 on there, because of somebody that hasn't tweeted since 2010. But I'd never bring that up. So
We
yeah,
do it all the time.
You're not at all bitter.
yeah, it was 14 years ago that person last tweeted, and they still haven't. Well, anyway, yeah. So Biggest Bennis on Blue Sky or Twitch at Biggest Bennis or YouTube. YouTube is probably where I'm focusing more of my attention these days. So yeah, enjoying it there. And where can we find you, Ed?
You can find me at ed_knights on Twitter and Blue Sky and Threads and.
No, you're Ed Knights on Twitter, on Blue Sky.
All right, yes.
I
Close
hadn't
enough.
Just confusing now.
Close enough.
that Threads like auto shares your Instagram stuff. And so
Oh,
I
you can
randomly
turn that
got
off.
yeah, so I randomly got a notification like you got a new Threads like, and I was like, I have a what? And apparently I have a Threads account because I have an Instagram account.
Oh wow.
You can
This
stop
is
it
new
auto
information
posting.
because I have an Instagram account, but I don't use it too often. What
This
is
news to me
Threads?
as well.
I
Threads
feel
is
like
like
an old
people.
person. What
Threads is
No one
Threads?
uses Threads.
No, well, Threads is people just really, really desperate for likes and attention, but without the bigotry generally of Twitter. So it's, yeah, it's like the Instagram thirsty pictures, but then asking them to post things on social media. It's, yeah, I don't know. Every time I go on it, it's just something that is like, oh my God, do they not use Fox in the UK? And then there's like 1,000 people replying like, yes, we do use Fox. And it's just, everything is kind of
What are you following?
bait.
And
No,
like,
everything's just
next time reply, may the forks be with you.
oh, amazing. Everything just seems
Yeah.
bait on there, and I last about a minute and go, nah, I can't.
No, I don't feel like I'm missing out now. It's all
You're not at all.
And yeah, if you want to check out more Swapping Joystick stuff, we're available on all the like podcast players and on youtube.com/biggestbennis. So go and check us there. Or if you go to swappingjoysticks.com, it'll give you all the links. That's nice and easy. Excellent. Well, Meg, Rosie, Victoria, and Ed, thank you very much for joining and telling us about your year. And sorry for keeping you so long. But
Thank you for having us.
Hope to have you
loads
again
of fun.
soon
Yeah.
next year.
Oh.
Definitely. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.